Okay, we will open this meeting of February 2nd, 2012. Shoot, I forgot to say happy birthday to my brother. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. I'm not going to say anything.
So what we have interviewed 3 prospective auctioneers to auction the property that we took by tax deed.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Joe.
I'd like to make a motion. Based on our interviews with the 3 prospective auctioneers, I would make a motion that we retain the services of F.D. Peverly & Sons, auctioneers and appraisers, for the sole purpose of auctioning our town-owned property at 29 Beach Street.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Discussion?
In the interest of I don't know, information for anyone who might be watching this, Mr. Peverly is extremely qualified and has met or exceeded all of the criteria for auctioning said property. And I wholeheartedly endorse this.
Okay, we going to fine-tune the agreement with him, sit down and fine-tune the agreement?
It's all contingent on final contract, of course, but
Okay.
this is to move to enter into that agreement.
Okay. Any more future discussion further discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor of selecting F.D. Peverly & Sons auctioneers and appraisers to sell our tax-deeded property, 29 Beach Street?
Aye.
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 Wow. Joyce, will you get in touch with them and ask them to come before us, and we will sit down and work out the details of the contract, because there's some of this we'd like to change.
Get a little subcommittee together so we could act quickly?
I'd rather act
No, I
sooner
think the
than
Board of
later.
Selectmen should meet.
Yeah, whenever he can meet, we'll just arrange and we'll meet.
Because we're an active board.
No, the only reason I say this is because he was saying 6 weeks,
Right.
and the others were saying 3 to 4.
Well, it doesn't have to wait till next Thursday. If he can come in sooner than that, we'll do it sooner.
Okay.
And I suggest that we take the information we have right now, and all of us, look at that and
Right.
think about what we want in that
Right.
agreement, then come together with it.
Beginning of next week sometime would probably be
Yeah.
not too late and not too soon, because the quicker we do it, the
Right.
quicker we'll
Right.
have it done, right?
So how's your time? Does anybody have any days that they just can't do it?
Tuesday and Wednesday,
So
because we're
you're-
in that class Tuesday.
What class is that?
Monday, I'm good to go.
The computer
I
one.
can't do
got
it
it.
Oh,
Monday.
I'm not going to that.
Are you?
I can't do Monday or Tuesday or Friday
Going to
morning.
the computer one?
That's the one with Dan Green.
Okay, can't do it Tuesday. Wednesday afternoon,
Wednesday afternoon, we're in
Concord.
Holiday Inn in Concord.
Yep, so I could do it Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning.
My only conflict would be Tuesday.
How
That
about
class.
Monday? Is everybody available?
Norm
on
can't do Monday.
No, I'm
I'm wide open Monday.
not available for work.
How about Thursday morning?
Thursday morning?
I can do Thursday.
Is everybody available Thursday morning?
Yeah,
We're a week out.
now we've gone right back to a week.
We're going back to
Okay.
a week, so
Or
why
we can
not?
just wait till Thursday
Yeah,
evening
why
and
not
do it at
just
the
wait till
meeting.
Thursday evening. You know what?
You know, I don't think it'd be that hard, like, maybe that's something even Tim and I could do, is we could go through, pick out what's pertinent, at least get a template, something that the board can work off of.
I think the selectmen can do that, and we could send it to you.
Okay.
Now you have our input to create the template. And then, why not send it back to us? I'll be diligent and look at the email. Send it back to us, and by email, we can say, you know, do this, do that, do this, and then by Thursday, we would have a finished, theoretically, we'd have to come in here all and look at it and say, yes, okay, that's good.
We could do Thursday afternoon after class if you want.
Yeah.
Just make an early
class?
meeting on
The
Thursday.
class is with Dan Crean and LGC.
I thought that was Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
I
As
thought
I
you
said
just
it.
said Thursday.
No, I
No.
said Tuesday after class.
Thing I want to point out,
Yeah,
though, is
Tuesday afternoon.
if he wants 6 weeks to have the auction, we would have to put it at the 31st of March,
Well, that's okay, too.
because the 17th is our town meeting, the
Right.
24th is traditionally a school district
Right.
meeting.
And the
Fire
following
district.
week is fire
Usually
district.
is- Yeah, but that's all during an evening, right?
Fire district?
Has the fire district set a date for their meeting?
I can look on their website, see if there's any-
Well, it's redundant. The 31st of March is fine. Are we
Yeah.
in that much of a hurry?
No.
Whether it sells,
Besides, I think, other than it being muddy, the more melting that occurs between now and the sale, the
Well-
better.
but we have to consider that. If you've got a big field of mud, where are you going to park cars?
We can shuttle them.
You don't usually have a mud season during March. It's usually April. The
Okay,
ground is still pretty frozen.
yeah.
The surface might be a
Not
little...
with this weather.
Yeah.
Not with the
I
weather we
Take that
got.
back. Surface might be a little loosey.
End of March should be
But
okay.
yeah, we
Yeah.
could come Tuesday afternoon to look at the template.
Right, yep.
Tuesday afternoon,
Sure,
look at the template to say, yes, that's good.
Like 1:30?
sure.
And then we could send it out to Greg after we approve it.
They don't have a date on their website.
One 1:30, right?
Yep.
What's the standard procedure for this kind of a thing? We had 3 people come in, all bid prospectively. Do we let the 2 non-awardees know that, thank you very much?
Yes, we typically do that.
That would make
We
good
notify
sense.
those that were not selected, so tell them, thank you very much for taking the time.
Okay, so Tuesday at 1:30?
Yep.
Joyce, and you can look at see what you can pull together on the different contracts and, okay.
Do you want me to go ahead and notify the other two,
Please,
thank them, and
Absolutely.
absolutely.
thought they were all good interviews?
Yeah, I did, except the second one.
Well, the second one.
It's very
He didn't
condescending.
drink too much coffee or something, maybe.
Okay, so that's it. That. Do we have minutes, Catherine? I can't find my,
We're jointly working on them. Catherine has done her portion, but I haven't done mine yet.
Of 11/22nd? 22, okay.
5-hour meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
That was one of the longer ones,
Yep.
so we split it up between us.
That's fine. Okay. Tim?
Let me start this down here. This is, there's actually two manifests there because of the bank. There's one for Northwell Bank and one for Franklin Savings. Those are the ACHs. Okay, so I will try to be brief. There is in your to-be-signed folder a DRA form MS-60A, which we're required to file each year. Earlier last month, but we received a reminder to do so. We have filed them each year, and this is to indicate how we are going to accomplish our financial audit for the year. And so I have filled it out specific to Grizzlack and Company. And if that meets with your approval, please sign it so that we may submit it.
So I'll make a motion that we use Grizzlack and Company for our audit for 2012. 11, right. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. There's only one signature, we just sign around it?
And that would be fine. The payroll processing, I'm ready to cut over from Northway to Franklin Savings. However, there isn't any other client of theirs right now using direct deposit and with the same payroll software that we have. So there are many different variables in setting up the type of file that is passed on to them, which is also then processed through the Federal Reserve at night to be able to do the direct deposits. And although I've sent them a test file and they've run that through, and we're going to do another test tomorrow, until you actually go live, you really don't know. So,
Well, considering this is people's money we're playing with here, I think a dry run would be a good idea.
right. So, so we're doing the dry run, but what I've requested here is normally we would do our pay date on Wednesdays. So our next payroll would be on Wednesday, the 8th. I'd like to process on Monday, the 6th, for payment Tuesday, the 7th. For the direct deposits, and if for some reason there's a problem with those, then I can reprocess it on the 7th for the 8th. Thank you. So, and this would be a one-time thing, hopefully. You know, I'm not anticipating any problems, but there's so many little nuances to this that, you know, it can look fine when they run it through and test it, but until you actually do it, you just don't know.
I'm fine with that. Yep. Everybody else?
Oh, no, that's what I call a dry run.
So employees,
Okay, great.
excuse me, I don't know why I'm coughing. Employees will discover they've been paid early if this goes
Maybe.
through?
If it goes through, that's correct, yeah. Now,
Will you notify department heads that this is taking place? It's a one-time thing?
In fact, I did send out to department heads a notice that this was my intention to review this with the board, and that, thank you, and that just to also let them know, for the employees' sake, that sometimes even when we do the tests that are called pre-notes, a $0 figure can show up in someone's bank account. It depends on the receiving bank or credit union. Sometimes it'll show up, sometimes there won't be anything, and it'll not bounce back to our originating bank. So it's so in any event, I did let the department heads know. And, you know, I'd like to say that it's going to go off without a hitch, but I'm going to do my best, and that's why, you know, doing this schedule, I think, will give us the time that we need. The fourth, so thank you.
I think, did we make a motion to do it? I think it should be a vote since we're actually changing the date for that to take
Just for this
place.
one.
It can't hurt a bit, Catherine.
I just think because of what it represents.
Say it.
I'll make a motion that we allow Tim to process the direct deposits on Monday, February 6th.
Payment on the 7th.
Yeah, I
For
mean, they'll
payment on
get
the
their
7th.
payment for payments on Tuesday, February 7th.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded.
For a one-time event to get this process underway.
I'll still second it.
Motion's been made and seconded for Tim to make the direct deposits process the direct deposits on Monday, February 6th, for payment on February 7th, Tuesday. This is a one-time event. Any more discussion on the matter? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is cash flow. I sent out to the department heads also a request to hold back on any extraordinary spending. I have worked out our cash flow in such a way that we're going to be, last year we were tight around this time, and we're going to be tight this year around this time, even more so than last year. And part of the dynamic, and I talked about this in the Budget Committee, but it's really important to understand that if you look at the total tax commitment that we take in, let's say it's $11 million even, of that, as our municipal budget shrinks, so as our portion came down the most this last year in the tax rate, so we're keeping less for the town, but our payments to other entities are equal or a greater percentage of the total commitment collected. So what that means is that as our portion shrinks, we've got to borrow more to be able to pay the outside agencies if we're not collecting on time. So it's really kind of a dicey thing. I mean, it's a great thing that our municipal budget is coming down, but as it goes down in a greater percentage and proportion to the other entities, it creates this kind of cash flow issue. So it's going to be very tight. I won't even tell you the how tight. If you read your email, you probably saw, and I have started calling to work out some payment arrangements, and I did get one today that will give at least me some sleeping room at night. And so I'm very happy that we've got some really good partners that we work with that are willing to work with us and help us manage the cash flow.
But regardless of our cash flow, so to speak, our budget is not approved for our spending right now. Aren't our department heads aware that there shouldn't be any type of extra spending? We only do what is absolutely necessary, which is, payroll, I mean, there's no unnecessary buying. There's no buying things for spring or summer work. We only do what is absolutely necessary until that budget is approved.
This was an effort to reinforce make sure
that?
Because there are other things for even the encumbrances that we can buy them now or we can pay for them now, but if we can work out some terms, which I encourage the department heads to try to work the terms a little later, so if you order it now, put it out into end of March, beginning of April. What I'm attempting to do is, as we pay back our TAN, and that's why we're going to be really tight, as we pay back the TAN, technically we should wait until after town meeting to execute the new TAN. So, and only one year that I'm aware of, we had to do that before town meeting. But I think we're going to be okay to be able to do that. The timing is a little close, so we have to have a lot of that activity going on before town meeting, so that once things are approved at town meeting, we can execute it. But
Joyce, when is the next department head meeting?
That's the third Wednesday of each month.
oh, I have talked to the department heads, and I have emailed them.
There's only one department head who's not in this room right now.
Yeah, I've talked to Dennis.
I didn't think about it last month, but that should just be a priority.
Right.
The third Wednesday of December, they should all be reminded every year that, okay, between now and town meeting, you don't even buy a bullet. or a
Well, no, bullets.
snowplow.
Bullets, I'll lend you the money for bullets out of my
No, they
pocket.
always buy a big supply
Yeah, I
for the
saw
next
that.
year.
There is also still that authorization for the 83,000 of encumbrances. There's,
But those encumbrances are obligations to pay, yes.
correct,
And
but
they're debts we owe, but that doesn't mean the money has to be expended right this second.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. So that's why I reinforced it with them, and I think everybody understands the situation right now. So it's going to be just, it's just going to be a tight walk, for a little while. Let's see, I just did want to bring that to your attention. Last week when I met with you, we discussed closing some funds for the 2011 audit, and these were the ones that rose up to the top that were the most likely. And really, this is when a project is complete or no longer really applicable. So in this case, the police building fund, really, there's no reason to hold it out there for now. If we get to a point where there's a new warrant article and new activity, we can always open up these capital projects. But otherwise, we've got to carry them, show them on our financials. And it really does beg the question when a banking partner or loan or other people are looking at something and they see no activity for a period of years, well, why is that still there? Is there some problem?
Is there any money in any of these accounts currently?
There is, but it really is offsetting if you look at if you look at them in total. There's a small amount of money in the police building fund.
Small amount, 15,000?
No, for I believe it was 4,400. Now, on the engineering and road funds and the sewer project, there are greater amounts of money, but if you look in total, they cancel themselves out because of the way the project was originally structured and how we got the money back from the state. And we had the engineering fund, which really was doing the engineering for both. And please don't make me go back through those years. However, there are sizable amounts of money, 6 figures, involved in those funds. However, there has been no activity, and the only one I put down on this list, which has not had any activity, but I would probably not close at this point, is the Lockmere Sewer Fund, and that's because the Sewer Commission, as I understand it, still has an outstanding invoice that they have not paid, and they've been disputing for some time. It's for the University of Maine for the archaeological dig, and it's somewhere in the $28,000 to $30,000 range. So it wouldn't make sense to close that one at this point, but there has been no activity.
Well, that's their realm of authority, the sewer, not ours.
No, but it would they would submit it, and it would be paid out of that Lockmere Sewer Project
Right.
Fund. So
let's instead of glossing over the 6 figures that are in the other 2 funds, let's talk about that money.
well, if you'd like, and I wished I had more time to be able to prepare this for tonight, so maybe what I ought to do is work out a worksheet for you so you can see exactly
These
what
aren't
amounts
capital
are
reserve
involved.
accounts.
No, none of these are
These are
capital
just
reserve.
monies that we set aside and labeled them for these projects,
They're line
basically.
items in the budget.
Yeah, this is a bookkeeping.
It's really a bookkeeping thing, but they are not capital reserves, but as capital projects, they had revenues and expenditures which never closed out at the end of the year. A capital project spans multiple years. The reason for closing any one of these would be because there just isn't any activity anymore, or will ever be any activity.
Well, I think I would like to see a worksheet,
Yeah,
because then I
I'll
could
be happy
better
to do that.
comprehend what you're
This
talking
whole
about.
sewer, Silver Lake Road project thing was so contentious that if there's $100,000 left over,
No.
Well, he just
No,
said
no, no.
they cancel each other out.
They cancel each other.
So one has a negative balance and the other has a
Essentially,
positive
yes.
balance?
I still want to, I'm going to have to answer to some people here. I want to know what I'm saying
Well,
when it
in
comes
that
up.
case, it might be difficult to close out Silver Lake Engineering because it is somewhat tied. I mean, the reporting doesn't change, and I mean, I can't
projects-
imagine any circumstance where we would make any changes to any of these other than paying the debt that's owed out of Lockmere Sewer for the University of Maine. And that's up to the Sewer Commission to, and maybe they've resolved the matter, I'm not aware. Maybe it was written off by the University of Maine. This goes back more than 2 years at this point. The last time I checked, they were still trying to collect it. However, what I'll do is I'll produce some type of worksheet. The police building fund is separate and I think pretty simple.
Never went anywhere.
Yeah, I would recommend I can put that down on the worksheet as well, but that one is really inconsequential in terms of money. The other ones are much more complicated and might take more than next week.
Well, I'm sorry to put you through this, but I have questions and...
Yeah, I would have to come up with the narrative that goes along with it.
I love a good
is,
story.
Well...
The Lockmere Sewer
Anyway.
project then should be posed to the sewer commissioners.
Okay. That's fine. I probably, maybe then I would request that the board vote on closing the police building fund at this point.
I'll make a motion to close the police building fund.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. I'm not quite comfortable with closing that.
Okay,
Any
so
more
discussion, right?
Right.
Okay, my discussion is, if there's $4,400 in that fund, then where would that money be put?
General fund.
Actually,
That money was raised and appropriated by town meeting for engineering costs,
I know what it was for, I
et
just
cetera,
wanted
et
to know where
cetera.
it would go.
This is the money that was left over that wasn't used. It will go into the general fund.
yeah,
Okay.
if there's a small surplus, it adds to it. If there's a small deficit, it takes away from it. It really is an inconsequential amount of money.
Okay.
I'd have to run the 2011 numbers against the 2020.
That doesn't preclude us from starting another building
not.
fund if at some day
Well,
we
if
were
you-
to build
if you-
another...
when
At
you-
least let me finish my question, Captain.
I was just gonna explain it to
If
you.
someday we were to entertain building another police station at some location somewhere, then we could, again, make another building fund and go from there.
You'd have to raise and appropriate the monies at town meeting.
Right. Well,
Then you would take those money you raised and appropriated and dedicate them to a fund for the
Yeah.
purpose that they were raised for.
Yes, but we're not going to use these funds for the purpose they were raised for, so yeah, it just makes sense to...
No, we
close it,
could.
Right? Only if we were doing 61 Business Park Drive, right?
Only if we wanted to get a study done.
No, it
on-
wasn't allocated for only 61 business parks.
That's right.
Oh, is that right?
That's
So
correct.
we could, if we wanted to hire an engineer to
It was
give us another study,
allocated
we
for
could
life
theoretically do
safety.
that, but I sure as heck wouldn't.
Not in
Find the
my
best
lifetime.
location.
You're going to be sticking your neck in the noose if you do.
That it would be silly to
Well,
spend
it's
that
quite
money.
obvious the legislative body wants it to be a dead issue for now, and that's the way it should be.
Well, you
Absolutely.
You really don't have to close any of these. I mean, it's not,
It's-
it's just a
it's-
little extra toner.
It just,
You know.
they need,
That also
makes it
puts that money
clean.
into the general fund for you to juggle, to pay
it's
a
already
bill,
in the general fund. Now it's
but
in
it
there,
can't be used.
now it's in there unlabeled.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
really-
use it now.
Paper.
It's an inconsequential amount, I can tell you, that for the police building. But,
In my world,
It goes to
$4,400
surplus, right?
is money.
yes, it would go to the unreserved fund balance. Now, if you'd prefer to wait until I come up with a worksheet, fine with that as well.
I would have to defer to the others.
I can-
Oh, we have a motion on
We
the
have a
table.
motion on the floor anyway, right?
Let's,
We can withdraw
are
them.
there any more questions, concerns on the motion on the table? Any more discussion? Then let's vote. The motion is to close the fund for the police building fund. Close that account.
Yes, close it.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. I'll take one out of four. So, New Hampshire retirement.
I was going to ask you a question. It's okay, never mind.
I attached to the back of my sheet this very simple explanation of earnable compensation. It's a chart of earnable compensation on the left. So these are items that a municipal, police, fire, teacher, someone working in government that is part of New Hampshire retirement could potentially earn. And then you have these caveats. So depending upon whether they were vested prior to House Bill 2 being passed, or whether they were vested prior to 1/1, not vested, and then also if they were a new member after July 1st of 2011, which is the Y with the 1 next to it. I just wanted to show you that this is most certainly going to lead to retirement issues with the town of Tilton.
How so?
Because it creates a level of complexity determining whether or not, first of all, the employees are vested, which they could work for the town for, say, 5 years, but they may have worked for Plymouth for 3 and Manchester for 2 more after that. So they may be vested to the New Hampshire retirement system, but we may not be aware of it. So right now we're going through the process of checking by Social Security number with New Hampshire retirement the members of the Tilton full-time members to see whether they have a vested status or not. But also, this changes several things. There's a number of things that we have deducted retirement for in the past, which was allowable, but is no longer allowable, which is pay for unused vacation time, which is essentially a paid time off buyout. That is no longer earnable compensation, depending upon when, whether you're vested, what the date is, so on and so forth. So just this grid alone presents kind of a decision tree for each and every retirement member employee of the town of Tilton to make sure that as we go through, as they have special duty that week, or they took a buyout, or they got some other type of compensation, it requires having to go through and make sure that we've got the right codes in. And then at the end of the month, the reconciliation on this and payments to New Hampshire retirement. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that this is a very complex set of circumstances that isn't going to happen every month,
Right.
unfortunately. And things have been running pretty well for a while now. I had gotten the New Hampshire retirement reporting down to a real science, and I can see this now taking probably a good day just in and of itself. So I just wanted to make you aware of what we're going to be facing, and I would prepare you for the fact that we're going to have some issues or problems.
Such as, for instance?
Such as we will deduct retirement when we should not have, or we will not deduct retirement when we should have, that sort of thing, from an employee's pay, depending upon their status and how the earnings codes are set up. Because each and every earnings element that we have in our system has certain components attached to it. So whether it's taxable, whether it's federal taxable, because Group 2 employees in the police department don't pay Social Security. So you have a whole myriad of objects that attach to these earnings elements that now, depending upon whether they're vested, when they started, is also going to make a difference, because you could have somebody that has worked here more than 7 years and is entitled to paid time off buyout. And before, we would deduct retirement from them and we would match it and pay it to a New Hampshire retirement system. Now, it's no longer earnable compensation for them. But if they've been here, if they've vested 10 years, it is earnable compensation. So it requires many extra sets of earnings elements to be set up, to be matched, to be able to do this, to make this happen. So that's why what I'm saying is I'm just trying to prepare you. I mean, I don't want there to be any problems, but I can just foresee with the level of complexity and confusion among people that are trying to determine what does this mean?
So you have to rewrite your program and make new lists of who falls into what category.
Well, particularly these earnings elements, because when we're going through and actually running payroll, we pull up the employee and then add, the hourly or special duty or one thing or another. And now it's going to have to be different types of special duty. And there's no way to say only this special duty applies to this employee or only this applies to that employee. So it's really going to require a lot of thought as it's crafted. So I just wanted to prepare you for that. I would hope that we wouldn't have any issues, but I think given the complexity of this, it is going to be very difficult not to.
Is the retirement something that you have to make up? So if you deduct it out of their pay, and it shouldn't have been deducted, or you don't deduct it, and it should have been deducted, do you have to make that up within a time frame for New Hampshire retirement? Is there a time frame that you must get that done and put back into there?
Well, yes and no. They have hefty penalties if you don't follow the normal schedule of payments. But if you've made an honest mistake and you've caught it or they've caught it, they're reasonable and will give you time to correct that. But the retirement reporting and monies due them are due on the 15th of the month. And if you go past that, it is a pretty significant penalty that you have to pay. I can tell you, I already am aware of one. Our new officer worked special duty, I think the first week of the month.
Yes.
14 hours. And so, as was he being paid in December, he had New Hampshire retirement taken out. We were matching it in our system. We haven't paid it yet. So we'll adjust that, so that we don't pay New Hampshire retirement for that, but then we'll also have to refund him his portion. So
That's a perfect example of something that's going to happen.
yeah, but I can tell you there.
It raises another question in my mind, where if you've deducted inadvertently or whatever, monies from an employee for retirement that you shouldn't have. Now, the employee is due that money back, but
Correct.
let's say you've already paid it into the New Hampshire retirement system. Do you get that money back?
Yes,
from
we
them?
would get a refund back.
How long does that take?
They're pretty good about it. I mean, it's usually about maybe 30 days or less. The reporting is extensive. It's very detailed and extensive, and now they're requiring additional elements so that they can keep track of this. And I don't think they're big proponents of this. This is House Bill 2, that basically forced it on them. There was a decision which Joyce had forwarded me. I think it came down today, was it, Joyce?
Today.
Which was relative to, I can't...
It's the firefighters.
Right, so there was a challenge made to the increases. Group 1 employees received a 40% increase in retirement, so everyone in this room, with the exception of the chief, we all got a 40% increase in our own retirement deductions that we had to pay in. And for the firefighters, I guess I haven't read the decision, but they challenged, if they were already vested, basically you can't change the game on us and increase our portion of that retirement. And the court upheld that they were correct, since it couldn't change the game once they were vested. So this is kind of still a fluid thing. There are lots of bills apparently even now still in the House that are floating around regarding retirement reform. But I just wanted you to be aware of this, because this creates a real problem for me. Because it requires a lot of dedicated time, and even with the best of intentions, it invariably is going to lead to some problems. So I'm going to have to work very closely with Joyce, and we'll have to sit down and map out as best we can which employees qualify for what, and work out a way of making that happen through the system.
Would it be helpful to structure it in such a way that one of the selectmen came in and perhaps, fielded all the people that come in to talk to Joyce, so that time can be dedicated?
I don't know. I guess,
Well, I'm just waiting to call Tracy, the accounting, the lead accountant, our assistant. And the best way for me to submit our grid to her, so she can go in and check off who's vested and who isn't as of a certain date, their vesting date. And then we have the date of hire. So it's just a matter of taking that information, creating our own grid
right.
with these elements, so we can just look at this employee and say, yes, yes, no, yes, 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 no, for these particular elements. I think it's just, we just have to set aside a block of time where there's
Well,
no...
if you need to sequester
Yeah.
yourself, then that
Okay,
could take place.
That's good to know.
But I could ask my question. I can't stand it.
We work well together, we can knock it out.
The Silver Lake Engineering Fund and the Silver Lake Road Fund.
Yeah.
Have we paid off the bond for the road project?
No, that is this year.
Could not those monies be used to pay that off, since they were for the project? Why not?
I believe there is an RSA that covers that.
They were raised and appropriated for the road project.
I'll be happy to look into that for you,
Thank you.
but I don't believe they can.
I mean, there was nothing else involved in the road project.
What's left over in the fund, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about how money was raised and appropriated for this, and it was raised and appropriated, straight raised and appropriated, and then there was authority to bond. Somebody got a band. And then we got money advanced to us from the state, which was unusual. So there were a lot of little idiosyncrasies to this, but all of the monies that were created
So what
were
you,
specifically for either engineering or the road project.
so what you want to do is take that money, close it out, and pay the
There's
Silver
eight-
Lake
there's-
project
Well,
off?
instead of it going into the surplus,
There's
General
80,000,
fund?
well, it really...
you can give,
It's
you can,
incredibly complex because
yeah, I
it does, there's a scale system between those three projects that is a very delicate balance, I'll just put it that way.
yeah, I remember.
Well, as long as we're already on memory lane,
I'm sorry.
because it's your fault, Kathy. If that's possible with a fund that says Silver Lake Road Project, why wouldn't, I don't know the exact name of it here, Lockmere Sewer Project, how come those monies couldn't be applied to the Lockmere Sewer Project in any and all of its various forms?
Well, you'd have to find out from the commissioners where that money came from.
It's not their fund, is it?
No, it's not.
No,
The
it's not.
Lockmere Sewer Fund is not the commissioner's fund? You mean to tell me, how can it be the selectmen's fund? By RSA, the sewer commissioners have all the authority as it pertains to sewer. So explain to me why that is the,
Because
because the selectmen signed the authority to bond?
the selectmen bonded and thereby had all the revenues, and the sewer commission passed through all the expenditures. The grants came to the town of Tilton.
They are the town of
accepted
Tilton.
by,
It's all right, we're going to fix it.
okay. I'll be
But
happy
back to
look
my
into all of
question,
those.
back to, why couldn't you apply that to, say, betterments?
I'll be happy to research it.
Okay.
How much are we talking about?
It's a considerable amount of money. However, they are offsetting. So when you boil it all down, there's really not much of anything left over. There's enough to pay the University of Maine, and that's about it. But if you look at them individually, you could possibly make a case otherwise. However, it's very complicated because of the way they were set up originally, where one project really had hands in the other two projects. The engineering project was designed to save money by doing one engineering project that incorporated both road and sewer. And from that point forward, it became a difficult ball of string.
I have to add here, everyone has to know, and anyone who watches this tape has to know, there was no finance director during this project. Tim came on at the was it even the tail end, or was it after the project was completed?
After the completion, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
So he had a horrible, let's just say, we won't talk about 2007 and
there were just
2008 too
a lot.
much.
There were a lot of well-intentioned hands trying to work this thing, but it was a very complex project, even with someone in that office full-time. It would have
Yes.
been a very complex project. So, there was a lot to it, and, I mean,
He spent many hours and days unraveling it.
yeah, and I can't say
It's
that
not
I
completely
never-
unraveled.
Yeah, there you go. That, you've said it well. So this.
Well, I'm looking
don't-
forward to
don't-
seeing the paperwork.
Yeah, don't look for me next week.
Okay.
It may be after town meeting when we get to that.
You had to have known
Get
when
to
you
that.
put that on paper.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, I guess I did. So.
Thought you were going to slide that right through, didn't
No,
you, buddy?
there's always a chance.
No, sewer project, no.
I'll have to have one copy for, depending upon who's at the meeting, and
It's pretty
spare
scary.
copy.
It's pretty scary when I followed you through all of that.
It's, I wish I could say it was really clean and easy. It's just not. So the last item is all the federal reporting's been complete, and I wanted to let you know that on top of like this New Hampshire retirement stuff, I have been. If you've ever seen a duck go through water, it looks so beautiful gliding along, and underneath there's this fierce pattern going on. Well, I happen to be underwater.
Paddling for
The
all
work on the bank accounts and the reconciliation and the new accounts with Franklin has been really challenging for me, and has put me behind quite a bit in a number of things. But I'm very happy to say that, and I've told a number of you this, but looking at balances, equal balances between our two banks, as we're waiting for one to close out and the prior checks to clear, that we earned 6.15 times the amount of interest at Franklin Savings Bank than from our former banking relationship. 6.15 times. 6.15.
What does that mean? We earned .1 and now we earn .7?
It means 6 times greater interest in
Yes.
real dollar terms. So it really is, it makes it, for me, worthwhile.
Yeah.
Because you're always a little apprehensive that, what you believe is going to happen, and so far it's been very good. But I just want you to know there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I also did get a laptop for the supervisors of the checklist, because they are going to have a lot of work coming up with with all these the elections this year. So
And purging the dead and whatever?
They really needed that.
they really need it.
They really
and,
needed that.
This way they can roam around town
And that's me
hall.
Oh, but tell her the best part. Tell them the price.
$2.99.
Really?
Yeah.
The software's worth $150.
Dell
You didn't get 5 or 6 of those?
And it's Windows 7 Professional, so it ties into our network, and
Yeah.
so I'm very pleased. with it.
Nice job.
Yep. So I just have to get up early on Saturday mornings to order them. Anyway, thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Take the rest of the night off, Tim.
Or go work on that sewer project fund.
Be here all the earlier the next day.
You won't see me for a good long.
Yeah.
Joyce?
Yes, ma'am.
We have an employee that's looking for a week off, unpaid.
Yes.
How are we going to cover that office?
Well, Al will do it in the afternoon, and myself, and we'll do the rest.
Okay. And then the next employee, there are 3 different ones.
Yeah, those are all.
And the date on here is January 2011.
That employee takes the last week of the year, and I think, doesn't it cross over into a little bit of, I'm sorry.
I don't know, but these are over a year old.
The
Either
dates are
that or
wrong.
they forgot that we
They
were
just
in a
didn't
new
make it
year.
The
12.
dates are wrong.
132,
sorry.
is that all it is?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was something we forgot.
Lieutenant, how are you?
You ice fishing?
And your calves and knees. And it's nice looking boots.
Yeah, this January 2nd is 20. Yes.
So this is anticipated, this is letting us know, this is letting us know for the whole year?
Yes.
That's nice planning.
Well, we all have. We've all put our weeks up on our calendar, didn't we?
2013.
We just
Oh,
haven't-
yeah,
we
that's,
just haven't- we
wow.
put up our days.
Yeah. Plan ahead.
I'm so
Just so
impressed.
you know, the Fire District Annual Meeting
Tell you what I'm doing
is
next week.
March 19th at 7 PM,
I have to look at my little phone.
Monday night, after town meeting. You hear that?
What happens?
The Fire District Annual Meeting,
Monday night after town meeting?
It's the 19th.
Okay.
7 PM.
So the week before, the
Love this time
Saturday
of
before
year.
would be the school district. Saturday.
No.
Where is it, do you
They're
know?
the Saturday after, the Saturday before is town meeting.
Okay, so our town meeting is going to
The
be...
17th.
The 17th.
The second
right?
Tuesday of March, we postponed the deliberative session until Saturday, but
Oh,
town
stop
meeting is
being
the
so
second
nitpicky.
Tuesday.
The 17th,
The
That's my
17th
RSA.
Completely
is town
confused
meeting.
everybody.
correct.
That's the law.
I know.
The Water District, they're in
You
April,
vote
first Tuesday
Tuesday,
in
we
April.
have a town
I
meeting
believe
Saturday.
so, yeah.
Oh, we have
Come
town
on
meeting
now,
on
Catherine.
Tuesday.
No, we don't.
The deliberative portion of
And
it
that
is on
means
Saturday.
that
Okay.
the school district meeting would be on the 24th.
What time is the fire district, Pat?
7 PM, it's Monday night.
And that would be where exactly, do you know?
Whoa, yeah.
Oh,
I found you the date and time,
Come on, I'm just asking for all the pertinent
It's usually in
information.
the cafetorium.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
texting
yeah,
during the
this is-
selectmen's meeting, come on.
Yeah.
That's also the first day of spring.
The 19th?
Hippy Skippy can't get here fast enough.
Yep.
It's my mother's birthday, too.
Birthday, Teresa's mommy. What is a galvanized shelter?
We need to
birthday was
have this
last-
out because
I am frozen,
Oh, I just,
just
check the hatch.
frozen.
this,
I think Joe undid the hatch just so he'd freeze me out. Let's get
No,
going.
that,
it,
I didn't
move
go
it.
back up there if I don't have to.
Move it.
Okay, let's do the easy things first.
Yep.
Remember, we had that
Too late.
meeting with DRA and UNH, how we gave them all of our assessing data, and they were doing GIS mapping.
Yep.
Right.
Well, they have that ready, and they want to come in and meet with us. And I forgot to add Joanna to my list, because I'm sure she would have an interest in
Yes,
this.
she would.
So he would like to come up and show us what they've got and how we can use it. And I had asked if it could be during the day or night, because I'd like to see if the selectmen could attend. And he said he would prefer during the day, but he could come in the evening if necessary. So I don't know how long it would take, but the other thing is that we would have, like, Joanna and Tim,
And Gus?
myself, and Gus.
Yeah.
And Catherine, if she's interested.
Yep.
So,
No, I think...
And Jane.
and Jane.
Yeah, and myself, I'd like to be part of it.
So maybe, what I was thinking was like maybe later in the afternoon?
Yeah, I think...
later in
Yeah,
what afternoon?
Maybe after 4:15.
Well, Gus would have to come back.
She would have to come back.
Yeah. No, it sounds good to me.
Or if you want to do it in the morning. It's just that around here, we're just so busy in the morning. It'd be nice
Yeah,
to
well,
have,
people
if we're
wouldn't
out in
be
that
able to sit
room.
there and just pay attention to be up and down with customers, so if we made it right at closing, that way there's no customers to be dealt with, and they can, feel free to be able to sit there and pay attention to what's going on.
Or
I
even
won't
just
be
like
here.
3:30 or something.
I won't be here.
It's just if we did it at night, it would be difficult for the employees to come.
Right.
At 3:30.
So it'd be like, no, they're talking like 4:15-ish, 4:30.
I really can't get in until 4:30.
All right, well, we can do it in the morning.
When?
You tell me, and we'll see if we can get him to work around. He'd be coming from UNH.
Okay, the only, I How far out are you going?
You tell me.
Well, the only day that I won't be able to do it is on the 20th of March.
I can't, I'm away that month.
Are we in March?
All right, why don't we go into April?
Oh, I
What happened
mean
to
February, I
February?
meant.
I'm sorry.
February.
I'm
Did
thinking
you
of
say
town meeting.
February?
What
No,
happened to February?
Well, I said, are we going into March? You know,
No, let's try.
So February? Except for what we have next week that I forgot about. I don't think I have anything definite, so I could be available pretty much any time.
For the mornings, I can be available the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th.
What is this pertaining to?
Mapping.
Mapping.
The boundary lines?
No.
Oh. We still have to do that, you know.
I know, perambulate.
Yes, that's the word.
Or the 27th and 28th, 29th.
I want to do something the
just skip a
29th.
I did, because I'm not going to be here that week at all. That's my availability. I'm gone from the 17th to the 25th.
And also Monday is President's Day. Our office is closed.
What Monday, 20?
The 20th.
Well, let's look at the
You
27th,
have
28th, and
another
29th.
holiday?
I love it, yes.
Why don't we look at the 27th, 28th, and 29th?
Get 11.
Wow.
Let's do it on the 29th. That way we only have to do it once every 4 years.
Ah, very good.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. I want to do something on the 29th.
I'm up for that.
Okay, good enough.
Okay.
Pat?
We'll see if we can do
He'll be
that.
back.
We should do something really
We
good.
should do something. We'll go out and have beer for lunch.
Okay.
Not that we selectmen drink, you understand.
No, no, no.
Okay.
We don't.
No,
Just till the lips go numb.
So,
I'm like getting more and more suspicious here.
So you're going to set it up for the 29th?
Funny. And then you'll let us know.
Can we
And this is
take care of
mapping,
this
right?
and then let you go aside, and we'll take care of the non-pub and then come back
Do you have
oh, you want to do the non-pub now?
after this?
Oh, okay. Only because the DOT's waiting on this, and he finally got his letter.
I bet this is
Of
good.
course, I didn't save myself one.
Oh, here.
That's all right. I've read it.
What time is the mapping?
I have to find out. I'm going to shoot for the morning.
Okay. 6:37. I thought for sure Pat would have perked up.
The what?
6:37 in the morning?
Please.
Have fun.
I did it during budget season. Come on. You have to give me credit for that.
Oh, I do, wholeheartedly.
And I actually was alert.
That's why I agree, Mark. Okay.
So she's saying they're going to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Right, but they will have a uniformed
No,
officer
they
there.
said that the termination of the need for police presence will be at the sole discretion of the department's contract administrator, who will be permanently assigned to this project. But we will certainly be able to use officers if he or she decides they are needed. So,
We have the chief go talk to them.
they'll do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Right.
So be it. So, that's the state. So be it.
South of Shaker Road. Okay, that's not very far.
At least it's not, like, just beyond Burger King.
South of
So
Shaker Road, yeah.
they need to have the municipal
Which is what it
agreement
is
signed so
now.
they can put their project out to bid.
How bad we want this bridge done?
I'm not signing it. Like, that's
Hey,
something.
by ordinance, they don't have to have a uniformed officer. And
Right.
if we had an ordinance that said they did and they went,
Even
no,
by
well,
our
that's
own-
one
Yeah,
thing.
but even the state says they're exempt, so.
They could
I
have
think-
sent us, they
we
could have
said
sent
They
us,
could have answered our questions on all of the other things that are pending in the state.
yeah. But they also could have
That has
sent us,
nothing to do with this.
So it does.
No, it-
they also could have sent us a letter back that just said, no. I mean,
Right.
the letter they sent isn't bad.
Yeah,
I am very
thought-
delighted that they've agreed to move the signs. Now we can hold them to that.
And hallelujah, so we'll take what we could get out of this.
And it
we're
doesn't
fine.
say no.
Right.
But our own
It leaves it
ordinance,
open.
our own ordinance says
I'll
that we
sign
don't,
it.
that they don't have to have,
Maybe we can get
Oh my
10 or
gosh.
12
Oh.
officers to go over there and
I
talk
have
to
to
them.
change the date on it.
I guess I shouldn't sign it in Aqua, should I?
Sure, go ahead.
No, and change, it says December of
Can I sign it in
2011.
Aqua?
why not?
Absolutely. Let your name stand out, they'll
Now
know.
this poor engineer can sleep at night, Catherine.
I don't care about that.
Poor engineer should have helped us out when Joe and I were down there last week.
Actually, one of them did.
Well, yeah, that's right, he did. He
I
was
don't know
very
if
nice.
you were
Very
here
nice
back when
about
our
it, and thank you
DRA
very much.
rep,
But this doesn't come from traffic.
Jamie
No.
Dow was our DRA. Is Tim still here?
What are we
remember?
changing?
How DRA, New Hampshire DRA.
This day of December? I don't care about
Tilton
that.
was a black hole.
Yeah.
Part of the Bermuda.
The Bermuda Triangle. So
Right.
I'm sure that the DOT refers to us in some fashion, similar to the way. But DRA loves us now. They do. They're great to work with. You send a request, and bang, the answer comes right back.
Well, we're not in the,
Wish
we're
it would
not,
rub off on
Triplicate.
DOT.
yeah,
Anyway, I thought that
Maybe we could get some answers back.
yeah,
Thank you for
yes.
allowing your time to slide by here, and we'll fit them in and get them home.
okay. Oh, that's right.
Thank you.
Are there people behind me?
What have we changed our ordinance?
I'm sorry, I forgot.
You do?
Motion to work on the 140 bridge.
That's
Joyce,
right.
did
I'm
you-
not the one that's.
Did this come by email?
Were you here for the request
yes.
about the
All right.
patrol officer?
No, I just want you to keep a copy of this, so when the project's over, if these signs are not what they say they're gonna be.
The state doesn't need
Got
it.
it.
Last week?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I was supposed to be on 15.
We've been going through
Oh,
this
we're
for
only
a
an
while.
hour. That's good. We'll have you back in a few minutes. You can leave all your stuff right there. Okay. No. I'd like to make a motion to enter into non-public session as per RSA 91A:3, personnel.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
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 All right. I make a motion that we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to
Protected information and personnel,
personnel
because we discussed that schedule.
permanently.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, Joyce, thank you for taking the time to switch back and forth.
Do you want to do warrant articles? There should be in your packet. So we're on revision number 3. This is the result of the meeting on the 26th. And I think we should pretty much be wrapping it up. There was one thing, Dennis had asked me again today if the selectmen were going to be creating a new capital reserve account for highway equipment, and I told him that it was my understanding that the selectmen said that they weren't going to be discussing this until after the 7th.
Why?
Why?
That's what you said.
What?
On his capital improvements plan, Dennis's CIP.
Oh, it's capital improvements
It
plan.
was 3 components. It was
Signed it,
town roads, state roads, and his highway equipment.
When he came to us and presented us a capital improvements plan, a road plan, an equipment plan, at that point in time, we should have put on that ballot a money article, and that should have been presented to the Budget Committee last night.
Right.
It was.
It's a little.
No, it wasn't.
It's a little early to sit here
Now,
and
was on
we're
the
not talking
road.
about roads.
what
Right.
we're doing for road projects.
No, not what we're gonna do.
We
It's not
have-
road, it's
but-
equipment.
It's for equipment.
Correct.
Oh, then
He
I
has a
misun-
10-year plan
I
for equipment.
misunderstood you completely. I thought we were talking about roads that
No.
day, not
No.
equipment.
Right.
Right, but there were 3 components to that, and when you had said, no, we're not going to talk about that till after the
Yeah,
7th.
I didn't hear equipment. I am sorry. I didn't hear equipment. I heard roads.
The equipment
Equipment is
plan,
separate.
the warrant article for the equipment, he has a 10-year plan,
Equipment
such as the police department does. The money that he wanted to put in for the town warrant this year for his equipment to purchase should be in this warrant this year.
So we should do that now,
But
so
what-
it could be for the
What
hearing
is,
next
what is
week.
that equipment list?
I brought mine.
Oh, wait a minute, I think I have mine.
I have mine over there if you need.
I don't think it's in my briefcase, I think it's in there. Because the question you have to ask yourself, I got it. What is it, connected to something? Yes, it is.
Right?
35,000
Right.
this year.
This year.
35, then raise and appropriate the other 35,000 next year.
Right.
To purchase a, why are we raising and appropriating 60,000?
He wants 35.
Oh, mileage.
That's mileage, right?
What, so he's guesstimating a cost, an approximated cost. So
Right,
we'd
and this-
raise and appropriate 30, well, then we should do that. We should create the fund, and we should put money in the fund.
Correct. I think, so in
Absolutely.
2012, he wants the Chevy dump truck 1-ton replaced. So absolutely, can we
Yeah,
get
that's
that
an
done and
oversight.
Yeah, it can,
sent to the Budget Committee tomorrow, too? Because that's an oversight that we didn't,
right.
Yeah.
You as selectmen reserve the right to add warrant articles.
Right.
And you have petition warrant articles that may be coming in on Monday.
I-
It's just that they scheduled their second public hearing for next week, so we can still get it to them.
I would prefer that we do.
Soon as
We've been
possible.
open and honest with them right up to now. I really want to continue that momentum.
And it really is merely an oversight.
It
Because
sure
we
is.
all knew about it, and even Scott Davis didn't say anything.
Right, we did, and it was completely an oversight
So
on
we've
it.
never
I
created
misun-
an equipment fund?
No, and I misinterpreted, because each time I brought it up, I heard February 7th. We'll talk about it after February 7th.
I've searched it down. Yeah, and I'm sorry, when you brought that up, I had completely forgotten about this, and I thought you were simply talking about roads. You know, I walked out of there going, how can we do anything with roads?
Well, maybe you just need a straw.
35,000.
Right, for 35,000, so that would be I'll make a motion to put in $35,000 for equipment purchase for the Highway Department for his 12-year equipment replacement plan starting 2011.
Did we create the fund?
That's what
We're doing now.
Oh, this is to create the fund and to put in 35,000?
Yep.
I'll second that. Oh, ladies,
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to create a fund for equipment purchase plan under the highway so that we can start putting monies away for his 12-year equipment replacement plan for the Tilton Highway.
Second.
No, it's already been seconded.
you were
Is there
way
any
too
more
late. We just wanted to
discussion?
make sure you were
All
listening.
right, well, I was.
Okay. All those in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
That
so
will make Dennis very happy.
that,
So, and you're going to send a copy of that to the Budget Committee?
Yes,
when
I
it's
can
written?
write it tonight
Excellent.
before I
We're
leave.
creating the fund, and then we're putting money into the fund.
That's
Correct.
correct.
Who's the agent for the fund?
Selectmen.
Is that part of the motion?
Well, that will be the way the warrant is written, with the selectmen.
It was not, but it could well be.
I'll amend my motion to include the selectmen be the agents of the Highway Equipment Purchase Fund.
And I'll second that one as well.
Okay.
Sorry, Sandy.
And I'll keep my yes intact.
Okay. All right, so
So there-
motions, all right.
So that was the main one. Okay.
All right.
Also, just an
Don't we
update
need to
on,
vote?
I'm sorry.
We did, said all those in favor. We just kept all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Because it was a second thing, right? Okay.
I haven't heard back yet from the Northfield Selectmen on I sent our warrant article for the Island Park. I don't see that it's a problem. I just haven't had a response
With
from
an
them yet.
explanation as to why we...
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't have a full board last week, so Glenn said that they'll talk about it this week, but I don't foresee a problem. And the other good news is that the UST agreement, the revisions that the selectmen had suggested, the Water District and the Fire District have both approved it, and they will both have their similar warrant articles on the warrant. The school district, Cheryl is presenting that to their school board. Their next meeting is on the 21st. She didn't foresee a problem. And then Glenn said that the two selectmen that did meet last Tuesday, they did review it. They don't really see any problem, but they have to have a full board to do that. So we're moving forward on that, so that's good. So we're getting close, very close now, where we can send this off to GRA and LGC to have them review. Let's see, finally, sent to schedule, oh, the other thing, in talking with Shelley on, in reading the statutes for rescinding a bond, I asked her, I said, I just wanted to make sure it required a 2/3 vote, because you have to rescind a bond in the same manner that you adopted the bond, and I said, ooh, that means public hearing. So I sent this to Pat about, we're going to have to schedule a selectmen's public hearing, and I was suggesting, what date did I suggest? Did I suggest a date here? 2/16. So I could
Be
get
next Thursday?
Yeah, I could get it published in the Echo on the 9th and have the hearing on the 16th, and it would be nice to have, we'll just present the whole warrant. It just won't be that one item.
I'm still having difficulty with this warrant, with this article.
Which one?
The feedback on the sewer warrant article, the feedback from the DRA.
Oh, okay, run sewer, that was...
Was that what you were just talking
No,
about?
I'm talking
I
about-
misunderstood.
I'm talking about the rescinding the bond,
Oh, rescinded, okay, I got it.
that one. We'll need to hold a public hearing. And also, the warrant article does not have to be placed first on the warrant, so we can stick that at the bottom, because you've got other things that are going to require discussion.
So this
But
one,
if you stuck it first, we voted on it, people could go and vote, and then we could go on.
True.
and then we wouldn't have to wait
We
at the
didn't have to
end.
wait.
Right,
So
I agree
we'll
with
still
that.
leave it in the
Yeah,
first slide.
because we just get her done, it's
Right,
not going to be very...
so that would be Article 4.
Yeah. I also, before we get to the sewer, Catherine had asked about the, oh God, what did I do with that? How many exemptions somebody can have. And Lauren had pointed out that in the disability exemption statute, it specifically says in RSA 7237B that you can't have both the disabled or the elderly. It's when the disabled individual turns 65, their 65th birthday, then they would go on to the elderly. They could have whichever is greater, but not both. Then the blind, I can give you this, Catherine. Shelley said that whoops, that's the sewer one. Oops, that's that one. Oh, Linda Kennedy said that there's no statute that prohibits you from receiving more than one exemption. A taxpayer can receive any and every exemption or tax credit they qualify for. But if you read that statute, it specifically says the disabled and the elderly. You can't have both of those. So
But you could be blind and elderly.
you can be blind and elderly.
And
You can be
deaf.
blind and disabled and deaf. You can be
Just can't have disabled.
tax credit.
And elderly.
Elderly, tax credit, and veterans credit,
Isn't
and
that
blind.
discriminating against elderly people?
Just the way they...
Everybody
No,
else can do
because-
it except the elderly people.
And then Catherine had asked, can the town set up something like, okay, if you have a blind exemption, you can't get the elderly, but the statutes are very clear that on adopting any of these exemptions, you can only do what the state says you can do. And the state only gives you authority on some of these exemptions where you can change the amount.
But we don't have to offer them necessarily.
Correct. And you can't offer your own.
Well, it's on the warrant now.
No, it isn't. It's,
It
the
isn't?
vote
I
was 2
thought
to
we
3.
put it on the
No.
warrant.
The
No.
vote was 2 to 3.
3 to 2.
2 to 3. I had 2 to 3. 2 voted
No.
no and 3 voted yes. But that didn't necessarily mean that it was going on the warrant.
Well, that was what we were voting on. Was whether to put it on the warrant or not.
To not put it on the warrant.
We can vote again, it doesn't matter.
3 people agreed to put it on the warrant.
3 people agreed.
I don't think so,
We're
Judge.
not,
The
the
warrant's
double
not a
negative,
done
they were
deal,
not
and we
in
can
favor of
revisit
not
it if
putting
we-
it on
Yeah,
the
we
warrant.
can take care of it right now.
So,
Yeah, all in all, as I recall, Catherine and I didn't want to have the deaf get an
Correct.
automatic deduction
Correct.
or exemption.
Correct.
But the other three were in favor of giving it to them.
right. But that
We
was
were in
not what the
favor of
motion
putting it
was.
on the warrant,
That's right.
Right.
with not,
Which is
Well,
just what I said, and
not
Joyce tells
giving
me
it
no.
to them. We were in favor of putting it on the warrant.
Yeah, this is about the
There's a
warrant.
difference.
Also, in rereading the statute, this statute does allow you can change the exemption amount if you want. It doesn't have to be 15,000. It gives you the option of changing it.
So you could make it 50,000.
But again, I'm only bringing it
Or
up because a
350.
resident had asked during the year, and I had said, I'll bring it to the selectmen's attention.
But that person also didn't find out if they could qualify for the disabled.
Right.
That person has not,
Investigated that avenue.
or
The
elderly
issue
or
is moot.
so. It was my understanding, the way we left this is that it was still being discussed. It's not on the warrant. All I did was put what the vote was. And
Do we want to keep it that way? I don't,
I just called, somebody make a motion, make another vote.
it doesn't matter to me, so.
I'm confused. My understanding was
That's
we
why I said to do it
voted,
again.
Catherine and I voted against putting it on the warrant.
Right,
You guys voted for putting it on the warrant.
right.
God bless America. But now we're talking about not putting it on the warrant.
No, what we're asking for is clarification because you're confused.
Right.
Excellent. Okay, then I would make another motion, because my motion was negative, and apparently it caused confusion. I would move to place an exemption for deafness at the amount of $15,000 on the warrant for 2012.
It seems pretty clear. I'll second that motion.
Okay.
A motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion?
Come on, you guys voted for it last time.
I'm going to say aye.
Aye.
Have the strength of your
All those
convictions.
opposed?
No.
You made the motion!
So what? I just wanted it clarified exactly where we're at here. Doesn't make any difference if I made the motion.
And now it will be decided by the voters.
That's correct, and I think that that's the important thing here.
All the knowledge that we have about it, and that's
Right.
okay, I guess. Somebody will have to move it to the floor, and I hope somebody explains it very clearly.
Oh, I'll move it to the floor.
Okay, you
You don't want to do this, but hey, check this out. No.
What?
Okay, so you want me to go ahead and plan to just do a public hearing on the selectmen's warrant on the 16th?
It looks like this deaf exemption isn't going to be moved to the floor. It's by ballot vote
Correct.
on Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice. So I don't have to get up.
you don't have to.
It'll be on the
I
ballot.
forgot about that at the ballot vote.
Excellent.
That's all I
It'll
have.
either be yes or no.
We'll have a bunch of people that, that's okay. I'd like to address the Warren article that I brought up.
Could I just get Pat to tell me what time on the 16th, because I've got to send out the notice. In the paper.
I can do that. Catherine?
Now, I don't think they all have a copy of your warrant.
What do we have for the 16th? We have no one. So we can have a public hearing at 7 PM. It's usually a good time for public hearings. Oh, I gotta write that down or I'll forget.
This,
7 PM, public hearing. Is that just on that warrant,
well, I
or?
think it would be a good time, just, we'll have the whole thing.
All right.
People can comment.
The warrant that we just, the motion we just made for creating one for Dennis's equipment, shouldn't we send that over to the budget committee?
Oh, yeah, that's going to happen tomorrow.
All right,
That's
good.
tomorrow, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, we've discussed that already.
good.
Okay, so the intergovernmental agreement between the Town of Tilton, Winnisquam Regional School District, Town of Northfield, Town of Tilton Northfield Fire District, and the Tilton Northfield Water District pertaining to the uses, maintenance, repair, management, and eventual removal and disposal of the jointly owned underground fuel tank and containing both diesel and unleaded gasoline tanks, that agreement having been approved by the Attorney General's office. Just waiting for Northfield to agree. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I think I'll make a motion, we send it to Town Council for review.
I'll second that.
Talking about the
That warrant
agreement
article.
itself or the wording of
UST,
the...
the actual
said both.
UST agreement or the warrant article?
I would say
US
both.
I would say both.
Yeah, both.
The warrant article is referring to that agreement.
Yeah.
So
At
you'd have to
least
know.
2 other lawyers have looked at that, the legality of it. We really need to, I'm looking at legal bills here, and do we really need to pay $175 for somebody to read it and go, yep?
Actually,
Who's
three-
looked at it?
3 attorneys have. The Attorney General,
Yeah,
John Tague,
yeah.
and Bart Mayer,
Who were they in representative of?
Northfield.
And the school district.
Well, John Tague is the school district's attorney.
Well, they would be in favor of theirs. Should we have one that's in favor of us? I mean,
Well, I'm
I
not
would
in
say
favor
yes.
of paying another lawyer to read it again.
But they're looking it out for their interest, though.
Yep.
Their interest. They're not looking out for our interests.
Okay.
Which attorney are we going to send this to?
Well, my
We
suggestion...
haven't taken a vote on it yet.
No,
was Dan
You're already
Crean, because he
talking
had
about
written
who to send
our
it to.
53A agreement for the fire district, so he's knowledgeable of 53A agreements.
I would suggest either Dan Crean or John Radigan.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest.
I'm fine with either.
Agree.
So I'll make a motion, we send it to Dan.
Second.
All those in favor?
What are we voting on, the first motion or the second?
We're voting on the first motion to send it to Town Council.
All right.
All those in favor of the motion to send it to Town Council for review?
Aye.
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 Now we're voting on the second motion, which is to
No.
send it to Dan Green. Okay, I got it.
Just so that it's on record.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Okay. All right, now we're on soup. Okay. This one I'm a bit confused about. All right, just here's the... So this means that all the projects that have already started, have already been begun, the debt would be spread over to all of the taxpayers, not just the sewer users.
That's correct.
Do we know where we are in line for monies coming back from the state on this?
Limbo.
You mean the DES monies?
Yes.
No. But the sewer commissioners are paying that currently.
Because my why I asked that was because my understanding is that I found out that Samberton recently got monies back from a project from DES, recently. A project that began before this.
Maybe they're whittling away at their list.
I'm just saying that we should probably, this is going to be a very contentious item, I think. And if we can avoid a contentious item, I think we should do it.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
can we maybe talk with Bob Velosky and see if they have received monies from, if that is true, that they have got monies from DES recently on projects promised from?
And how long ago was the promise made?
Right. My understanding, it was a project that was started before the Lockmere.
As far as this proposed warrant article goes, someday the town has to decide what the town is going to do. I see a lot of self-interest and my money, and it doesn't affect me, so I don't care attitudes. And I can understand that. I'm not... But eventually, dumping our solid waste, well, not solid waste, our sewage waste into the ground, into our groundwater, is not sustainable. If we have an option, now, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, I think, to do it that way. But now we're coming to right down to a sewer project in the downtown area that's coming up in the sooner rather than later future, because the sewage we've got down there is old, dilapidated, and in need of replacement. That's going to be significantly more expensive than anything that happened up on the lake. We're going to have to tear up all of downtown. Now, are we going to saddle downtown with a betterment? We're losing merchants, and we're going to price people right out of those apartments over top of the stores. Downtown will be a ghost town. And then who will pay it?
But what about all the people that live in this community that will never see sewer in their lifetime?
I understand that.
What about
But this
all-
isn't about our lifetime. This is about my grandchildren and your grandchildren and the condition of their groundwater.
But the thing of it is we have people in our community right now that are just barely getting their taxes paid, and now you're going to ask them to cover costs that they can't even be part of.
I'm
No,
going to
we're
bring
going
it-
to ask them to vote on whether they want to cover those
But if it
costs.
passes, then they're going to cover it whether they voted yes or no.
And how do you think those people, right now, when we have sewer projects that come in, how do you think those people in the sewer project feel when every single person at town meeting gets to vote on who gets to pay for that sewer that theoretically doesn't affect them? Town meeting voted to saddle those people in East Tilton with the Lockmere Sewer Project,
Okay.
people that will never be affected theoretically by sewer. Every single person on the face of the earth is benefited by sewer, one way or another. Those people that are in the sewer projects must hook up, so they pay user fees. And there are very few exceptions to that.
Right?
There are people down there that don't have to hook up because of the distance, they pay a betterment fee. So, I mean, it seems so inequitable that those people, and I'm using Lockmere Sewer Project because I know that figure, their taxes are increased by 50%, that's huge, by a vote of the legislative body, and it could be that 90% of that legislative body isn't affected by that sewer. They're not going to pay the betterment, they're not going to get the user fee, but
So
yet
it
they get
worked
to
at that
vote
time.
to saddle those people with it. Why isn't it much more equitable to spread that cost town-wide? And it's not our decision. All I'm saying is, put it on the warrant, and as I've heard over and over again, let the legislative body decide. If they vote no, fine. At least we've put it out there. At least we've tried to be equitable with the taxpayers of this community.
How much is the debt? Is it just the Lockmere project, or is it all debt?
It's all the sewer projects. And right now, from what Tim has said, and it's a best guess at this point, because we're not there yet, that it would affect, I mean, our tax rate is set now until fall. It would affect our tax rate by approximately 6 cents.
But how much is the actual debt that we're trying to cover?
I don't know.
It's in your budget reports, the debt service schedule. It has them separated out by
Did he
which
do
is
that?
user fees and which is general
I'd
obligation.
hoped he'd done that. I hadn't talked to him.
It's also my understanding
No, I'm in your budget packets.
from talking to sewer commissioners, before they do a job, they go
You gave this
down
to us
and
last night, is this it?
Oh, and
they ask each particular property owner if they're willing to have the job, and if enough, have the sewer,
This
and
is,
if enough people
Oh.
agree to this, then they will go forward with the sewer project. If enough people won't agree with it, then they won't. And I use Main Street from here to the Franklin line as an example. They can't get enough people to agree to sewer, so they won't run the line. So that means that everybody over there in the Lockmere project was asked beforehand, and they got more people that said yes than they did no.
They had a public hearing, and those that attended were asked.
Yeah.
They didn't go and ask every single person in the
Well, if
Lockmere
they had a
Sewer
me.
public
project.
hearing,
That would be
They didn't
affected.
ask me.
No.
if they had a public hearing, then people had the opportunity to be there to
If they were aware of the public hearing.
And I went, there was probably 30 of us.
Well, that's,
But
And
that
then the
doesn't,
whole town voted to saddle everybody with that betterment fee.
that's the inequity of it. It's one thing to say, okay, you got a Lockmere sewer project going on, only those people that are going to be saddled with that debt should vote on that debt.
well, I just,
Not people up here that say, you know what, I swim in that lake. I don't want them,
Are these
sewer
people-
contaminating my lake. Yeah, I don't have to pay for it, but I want it to pass.
I had up all those numbers all the way.
You know, that's the inequity of it. And I am a person that will never benefit from sewer.
no, neither will I.
Clark Road could be.
No.
If they run the sewer down West Main Street, and I'm only projecting, why wouldn't they run it up Clark Road? Isn't there
Because there's not enough
there's a
houses.
housing development up there?
Currently,
Not enough
Currently.
25, 30 years,
Well,
who
who's to
knows?
say from, if they put it through 3 years from now? Who's to say what's up there?
But the-
I mean,
the
the
point
point
of it
is, yes, sewer may go up there. That's a possibility. I'm telling you, sewer will never run by my house. Because it's on the south of me, it's on the east of me, it's on the west of me. They are not going to run sewer just for me down Route 3.
Oh, they will if you pay for it.
If I pay for it,
Right.
sure. And I'm willing to vote yes to this, because I think it's unconscionable that town meeting gets to saddle a certain section of town with 50% more taxes.
But where were these people a couple years ago when it cost me 18 grand to put in a new septic system? They're not going to help me pay for that.
I don't see how that has any correlation on this whatsoever.
Well, they're
Where
not
were
going
they
to
when I had to
support
put in
me.
a new well? Where were they when I had to repair my septic system and put it on a new roof?
This is something that
Those are
benefits
improvements to your
everybody.
property.
That's the
that add
aquifer.
equity to your property.
Right.
This is saying, you know what, if it's going to increase the tax rate by 6 cents, and it's going to make it much more equitable, everybody benefits from sewer, everybody. We all drink water. We all swim in, well, most of us swim in
Well,
the
yeah,
lake.
but do you know how many people I know that live in the rural agricultural area that have had properties for generations and they're now selling because they can't afford their taxes anymore?
That's
And now
happening
we're
to,
asking them to pay more?
Want to go down and see how many foreclosed houses there are in Lockmere?
yeah.
This is a townwide problem, and it's a townwide issue, and some people will say, no, no, no.
This is the,
True enough.
this is the,
But there's a lot more than the outlying agricultural areas involved here.
Well, it's like I've told you before, this is the main reason why eventually this state has got to get real. Either we're going to come up with another way of collecting monies, whether it's through a sales tax or whatever, either that or
I
it's going
agree.
to turn into an
agree.
elitist state
Oh,
where
no.
only the very well-to-do can
The
live
issue,
here.
the issue of
Why
how we
would we be
collect
do-
taxes aside,
But why would-
I would like to see this warrant article not just address the current special assessments, but to say something about going forward with sewer projects.
Well, according to...
How they're
Department of
apportioned.
Revenue Administration is correct. You cannot bind, and I put it in there as just, how people, I was just trying to bring it further to see how people would feel about that. But according to Shelley Galarno, and she talked to Barbara
Right.
down there, and she's right, you can't bind future generations to a bond that hasn't even been taken place.
Right.
But I think if this is passed, it would tell the sewer commissioners for the next project that people are receptive of spreading it townwide, rather than just,
Well, the people that are at the town meeting
Right.
are receptive.
right.
That's the problem. You have such
The
a
100
small,
the 100 people or so out of 3,500 that will actually go and vote.
I
right,
got
you
a
have such
feeling
a
this
small
warrant
percentage.
article will bring a number of people out to town meeting.
I'm hoping
sure
it
it
does.
would.
And that
I'm
in
hoping
itself
it
would be a
does,
good
because
thing.
We should put it
the
at the
more
end of the
people
warrant.
the more people that we have out there, the more people that come to the town meeting, the more people that vote on this, we get a very clear indication of how they want it.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it should be.
So I took future out of that,
Yeah, I
because
see.
they're right. And Christine Fillmore, who I sent it to, wrote back and said, as revised, the article appears to accomplish what you have proposed.
I understand that we got saddled with the DES promise, and we got saddled with the debt that was unfair. And now we have Lockmere residents that are 50% in their tax rate going up. But is this article going to
Gonna spread the
assess the
pain.
entire debt, sewer debt, not just the Lockmere? It's taken all of the projects into consideration.
Because it's being equitable.
Because it's not just a Lockmere issue.
Oh, we're not saying there's just a Lockmere issue, but
But did
I
they get
noticed-
reimbursements from the states on the other ones?
It's unknown to me.
It's unknown to me as well. I mean,
If
the
they had been
reimbursement.
reimbursed, we wouldn't know
The
money.
reimbursement,
this is just the balance that had to be borrowed. There were grants and other things that, this, like the Andrews Road, that 384,250, that total project cost was, what, $1 million?
million.
So we're looking at, right now, a debt of $2.8 million of debt.
And the amount of money per year, what is it, 30,000, 32,000?
30,000 that the sewer
But-
commission.
Right,
writes a check
that's
to-
the amount that would go to offset that debt each year from DES, so you can see it's kind of it's something, but it's,
It's a very, very difficult decision. I happen to be on town sewer, and trust me, the pipes that are in there that we're using right now are extremely old, so at some point in time, the project's going to happen up in our area. I don't know what the legislative body,
It's not, isn't it?
it's going to be a contentious issue,
It will.
and let the legislative body decide it. I'm hoping that they'll all come out and they will all express their view. I'm hoping everybody's allowed to express their view, and so be it. And let them speak.
But if, Catherine, correct me, say this were voted down, but the next sewer project that the commissioners put forth at town meeting, at that time you can do this.
the sewer commissioners have always had the option to spread it townwide. The RSA is there. That's what.
And why haven't they done that? It's that just
Because
their
it's not
choice,
been-
or?
it's not been the practice. Well, the sewer, it just hasn't been the practice.
It doesn't affect some people, so why not have the people it affects
Yeah,
pay for
it's
it?
always been the way.
I understand that concept.
People have accepted that. But when we do a road project, like Silver Lake Road, there are people in this town that probably will never drive down Silver Lake Road, but they're paying for it. If we put a sidewalk, up in Buffalo, in Buffalo Park, there's people that'll never walk on that sidewalk. but
I
pay
don't
for it,
have
but we
children
can have
in the
them pay
school
for it.
district, but I pay, and I never had a fire, but I pay. And I pay happily because it's a town-wide expense that keeps us all better off. And that's the only way I could support it, because I pay my betterment, and I've never heard me complain about the betterment. Because I don't think especially being the closest property owner to the lake down there at the end, and knowing the condition of my septic system, I was all in favor of the sewer project, and I happily pay my money. But
I'm hoping that this does not satisfy, whether they vote yes or not, that we just sit back and not go forward and push the state to getting our money.
Oh, no, that's a separate
heaven
issue. No,
forbid.
that has to take place. That has to take place. The state can't back out of a deal, and that's what they've done.
want to bet?
Well,
They have.
no, they have not.
Well, they're not paying it.
Well, they're not done. We're not done with them. We're not letting them go.
They just haven't appropriated enough money. I think
No,
the
that's
last
their
biennium,
problem.
it was 8.4 million, and it used to be, when this project, it was 24 million.
What about the money they owed us from closing the facility when
Same
Home
thing.
Depot bought it?
That money went poof.
If we had legislative representatives fighting for us.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And if the
no.
Pope wasn't Catholic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they are presenting bills like, if you don't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance in grade school, you're going to be breaking the law.
Do you have the final wording that's,
This is it. She just passed it out, right?
can I have a copy?
Well, they haven't voted to put it on.
I don't have,
So all you did was take out
Future.
future.
Well, no, I took out a few more words,
Oh,
but I took out the sentence that included future in it.
I don't have it.
This one right here. You got it right there.
Is this it?
Yep.
I think I can send that to you.
All right.
Can't I?
now this is,
I think you need to make a motion that we put it on the warrant, and then we just take a vote on it, and
so this is two.
let's
I'll make
just,
a motion that we put the proposed warrant to spread the sewer betterment fees townwide on the warrant.
You made it at the wrong time.
When Joe comes back.
I will second it.
Thank you, Norm.
I was just going to do that. I think for the sake of putting it out there for the people and letting the legislative body decide on this, but it's like a crapshoot.
Oh,
You know, it really is like a crapshoot, because you're depending on all of the people in the town of Tilton to come up and make this decision. Otherwise, you get a select few that make a decision, or you get one part of town that comes in and makes a decision. The other part of town says, well, there's nothing on the ballot this year that really needs to be.
I think this will pull people in.
I hope so. Okay, the motion failed.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Last year, we proposed a police station, and you still didn't get more than 100 or so people showing up at the
At
actual
which
town
meeting?
The original town meeting. Then you got 400 to show up at the reconsideration.
Right.
No, the first one, we got more than 100 people.
Not a whole lot more.
Yeah, well.
So this is just.
So a motion has been made and seconded to put this sewer article on
I
the,
think so.
on the warrant, and it failed, Joe, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you're having discussion, I would say,
Just
I
kidding.
couldn't sign the warrant if you put that on there.
Why not?
Because I'm no more in favor of that than I am the deaf thing. I don't think the selectmen should be putting it through. If there's interest in I'll sign a petition, but I don't think it's something the selectmen should do, even though I'm in favor of the actual article.
I don't get it.
I also don't feel that this is really the appropriate time to do it. People are still hurting.
You know, I've been hearing that for 3 years. I mean,
And
people are
they've been
still
hurting
hurting.
for 3 years.
Yes.
And you know what? I know people that are hurting 50% more than anybody else in town, and nobody
But,
cares
but
about
no,
that.
but Joe, I
you know
think
what?
Joe's got a good point, though.
Okay, back up. I rescind my motion. Don't worry about it.
Even if it came in as a petition, you would still have to,
What?
oh, no, you wouldn't, there's no money, so you wouldn't have to recommend it, would you?
No.
It just goes on there by
Nope.
petition.
And
Goes
that's what I'll
on
do.
by petition, exactly the
I
way
will
it is.
get,
I'll sign it.
yeah, I'll do it by petition.
I'll sign it.
But you know what? I'll do it by petition. I can see it's very contentious here. All I wanted to do is put it out there for the legislative body to vote on. How many times have I heard that?
Oh, no, I'm all for it. I'll sign your petition, Catherine. But as a matter of
right,
us
so
putting
this will
it
be
on the
by
warrant of
petition.
selectmen, I
Because you know
think
she'll
that's
get
a
the
little
signatures.
iffy.
Let's move on.
Did you actually rescind the
Yeah.
motion, or are we going to vote on it?
No, I took my motion off the table.
I'll rescind my second.
Okay, let's move on.
On the next two, and also, you know, you can change the order of all these things. I just kind of put them down how they were in prior years. So for the subject to gate and bars, I thought it'd be helpful if we had, like, just set up a poster or something, or even have it at our public hearing, showing, you know, the Bing maps of where this is.
Yeah.
And then knowing the territory, they have a good little explanation of what it means for,
Yes, they do.
and so we can have that with it, or the selectmen can read that at the time before somebody says move to table. So at least to get the information out there. Island Park, I already said
Yep,
about Northfield, okay.
the roads, the
The
capital.
capital, we're going to add the
Yep.
35,000.
Right.
Yep,
Now, I went ahead and put in here on, Joanna told me that the Budget Committee did not recommend the 5,000,
Right.
right.
so I did put that. The 17,000, Norm had asked about the revow, and when I went and looked at one of the proposals from Avatar, because we just signed a year-to-year contract, the year that would be the full update, for the update would be 70,800.
Right.
So
Well, we've always just kind of put whatever it was over the 5 years, every year we put that much in so that you don't have a
Yeah,
big
well, I
chunk.
wanted to make sure, you know, if it wasn't like 150,000, that
Right.
17 is
Right.
gonna be, you know, per year is,
So 5 into to 70 is, the 17's going to cover it. Okay,
That's what's all involved in an update, that's why it's 70,000.
all right. Just for a point of correction, could you spell my name correct on that article?
Where did we do that? Which one are we on?
On the reevaluation?
Your name's on there?
Okay, also, I need to go back and listen to the tape. I missed who made the motion and the second on the roads, streets, and bridges, so I put Joe and Catherine in there. I'll check.
I think it was Joan
I think I
Catherine.
did make the motion.
Yep,
You seconded that, didn't you, Catherine?
the roads and bridges,
The
the 60,000.
Yep.
And then also, when we get down to the lake improvement, I had Catherine Dawson, but I don't know who seconded it.
That would have been Joe.
I
Joe?
think so, yeah.
Joe did. He was all over that.
Yep.
And then, we're done.
Catherine, are you aware that there's a meeting at the state, a hearing at the State House tomorrow? Did I say 11?
No, I don't remember. I was going to get the information tonight from you.
Oh, I'll get it right here. For the for when the height, the water,
Silver Lake, mean water, height or whatever.
It was this morning.
Yeah, I thought you said it was Thursday.
Yeah.
You told me Friday.
The second is today.
1 p.m.
did I forward it to you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
And we faxed it to Catherine.
Yeah, State House.
Shoot.
The lake,
Where?
yeah.
Shoot. Well, I'm hoping that they make out.
That's all right. Senator Forsyth is all over that.
Good. Well, can we maybe get a,
Now your nose is
can we
gonna
try to
grow.
get,
Poke Sandy in the eye.
yeah, can we try to get the results?
Yeah.
See what that is? Okay, what else you got?
Got a couple things. This morning.
Yes.
That was a Senate hearing?
Yes, room 102.
Was it House?
I don't know. I was just making a joke about the Senator Forsyth thing. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Get to the next step, which would be...
I'm trying to look for my email, and I could tell you.
I was going to go tomorrow, because Pat had said it would be tomorrow.
Want to know,
Do you have the email, Catherine? Can I see, where does it say it was Senate bill?
Senate Energy and Natural Resources.
So it's Senate.
I'll just say it's lost its purpose. And you undoubtedly told me, or sent it to me.
Yeah, but I sent the wrong day, though.
oh, it is tomorrow?
No, it's today.
It was today.
I really feel bad, because Joe was going to go.
I was down there.
It is, it's the Senate House, in committee. It's right there, that means Senate, in committee.
Yep. Yeah, let's find out what happened to it.
Okay,
I would like to listen to that one.
yep, go ahead.
Okay.
I would have liked to
We got
testify.
our,
I have a beach on Silver Lake.
our equalization assessment ratio from the state. Lauren hasn't seen this yet. She'll be in next week. She likes to review it. I remember that when she submitted the data, she said that it looked like our median ratio is going to be a little high, and it's because of the mobile home assessments. And she said once she gets the report and looks at it, she may be coming back to the board to ask permission to go and just do a reassessment on just mobile homes, or just look at the sales on the mobile homes
Right.
to bring us back down. So last year, what I had done is, after she had looked at this, I made copies of it all for the board. As you can see, it's quite lengthy, but I just wanted to let you know that we did receive it. She'll look at it next Thursday. This is basically saying that our median ratio is at 102.4%, and the weighted mean is at 100%. And the median ratio is the ratio used by DRA to monitor how closely our land, building, and manufactured housing assessments compare to actual sales in Tilton. So that 102 means is that our assessments are just a little bit higher than the sales, and as I said, that's because of the number of mobile home sales, because that ratio blends
Yep.
those three categories. But our weighted mean, which is the overall equalization assessment ratio, that's the one that's used in the school district and the fire district calculation. Second year in a row, we're still at 100%.
Good.
So that means overall, our values are holding. But I'll have this in Catherine's office. Catherine, we'll put this in for Lauren's stuff to look at. She's next. So, because I'm getting calls already from people wanting to know what our ratio is, and it's like, hey, we haven't accepted it yet, so call back in a few weeks. We did that. Oh, Tim and I and Catherine were talking today that it was our understanding that when the board talked about the shed for the ice rink, and it was a donation, we need to clarify that it was actually a cash donation, and that the money was used for a shed, and we need a vote to accept that donation, a formal vote, because that
thought he did
bumps up
that.
our bottom line.
She did?
We said that, and we
Sure.
checked, we listened to the,
So
and it
I,
wasn't.
Let's do it now.
I'll make a motion, we accept the gift on the amount of $5,000 from Home Depot.
second? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
And it was a gift, $5,000 gift card, it was
Yes.
used to purchase the
That's
shed.
correct.
Okay.
We didn't use it all for the shed. We had a $5,000 gift card. Part of the purchase was a shed.
Okay. Good, we're covered there.
Yes.
I still need to schedule a meeting you had said last week about having the Parks Commission meet with the risk manager. I still,
Well, they're meeting Tuesday,
Tuesday?
Yeah.
and then they won't meet again for another month.
All right, so let me try.
First Tuesday,
First Tuesday is right here, it's the 7th.
first
Okay.
Tuesday.
Next
And then
Tuesday.
I have in the Selectmen Legal Confidential, there's just a lot of correspondence, which I summarized for you, but there is one item that needs some board action. And also, I can talk about that one. And the 307 Main Street, you were going to talk about that on other business. Status of the PD repairs you were going to talk about.
No, you're going to talk about that. I just put it on the old business.
Okay.
It's under old business, so we don't forget that we can talk about it.
Okay, I'm done.
Can I ask you a question, Joyce,
Yeah.
that you may or may not have any clue about? But I'm looking at the payment processing report. It just so happens that the gas heat bill for 61 Business Park Drive is $1,084. I know that the thermostat is below 50. How could we pay $1,000 for gas heat at Business Park Drive?
Is that it for a month?
I don't think that's a month.
Even if it's 3 months, it's below
Look
50
at the
degrees.
Look at the statement itself.
Okay, well, that aside, well, maybe,
It's a couple of months.
And
I would hope
that's
it'd be about
fully paid by our tenants, isn't it?
a quarter.
Yeah, we get reimbursed.
that's
When
going to be
when we have tenants in there that use the heat, because there is one tenant in there, that's reimbursed.
Also, the electricity is higher than Town Hall. $197 for electricity. Town Hall is only $168.
But we get reimbursed for that.
On top of the
Tenants.
rental?
I think it's part of the whole lease.
So those gas heaters are running.
It's running all the time. It can't be 50
Yeah, but
degrees.
remember, we had an incident in there that cost us some money.
Yep.
And
Is that
now
part
we're
of this?
looking at a light bill that's pretty high. Maybe we ought to go figure out what's, if that's just normal usage, if something's running continuously.
We
And,
put new thermostats in there so they
May-
couldn't
yeah.
touch the heat.
and maybe we
They
should
leaving the lights on?
check the heat controls.
Where are the checks? I'll do the research and get back to you as soon as I find out. Public service, 138.
Our lease tenants' revenue covers the utility. It doesn't cover our debt service, but it covers the utilities and then some, above and beyond.
But if we're reduce our utilities, it just means more.
Right, more revenue to
much,
us,
but-
right. Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
We made a payment on the 3rd of January.
So it's 1 month?
Lights?
I'm not, for the heat.
Something wrong.
I know.
Budget committee, he was talking about some
Oh, here
of
we go,
those
here we go.
multi-months.
Yeah, I thought it was quarter. I thought it was
Yeah.
quarter.
1,000
So,
therms. Apparently, they've charged us $324 for the gas and $760 for delivering it.
What?
Delivery?
Isn't it natural
No, I
gas?
take it back, $760 for the gas and $324 to deliver it. $324.01 delivery charge.
Is it propane or isn't it
No.
natural gas?
But you have to pay,
For the gas to go down the pipe?
yes.
Get out.
okay.
All right. Anything else, Joyce?
$1,000?
I am totally in the wrong business.
There's something wrong with that.
Some quick legal things.
Okay, we'll take those up after.
760 seems.
Do you have something for us, Norm?
No.
Joe, do you have something for us?
I have nothing that pertains to the selectmen, no.
Okay.
I take it back. The Solid Waste Cooperative voted to move the Allenstown resolution to the joint board next Friday. Under the same terms that we had discussed previously. No surprises, nothing new on that. Also, the bond issue, we voted to move a proposal from, it's a bank, and I don't have the information in front of me, that was the most cost-effective, the repayment, the points, and all of the associated costs to the joint board as well. I'm going to get copies of that information to Tim Pearson so that he can be swamped further, and that he can look at it to make sure that it's as advantageous as it can be. And I'm negligent in not getting copies of that stuff to you guys, but I will email it this evening so that you can read it, because it's not until next week that we actually vote on this. And I will need to know exactly how you want to proceed, because it's a lot of money, certainly. The terms are spelled out. It's to be paid back by the percentage of, in worst case scenario, meteorite strike, we close early. It's to be paid back by the various towns according to how much tonnage they bring of recycled waste. But between the, we're covered. I feel that we're covered, but you need to look at the actual contract and agreements to know how we want to vote going forward. We have 8 votes out of 300 and some odd. Concord, Franklin, and Laconia are all on board with it, so they can almost ramrod it through. But we're only obligated until 2014. So even if it's something you don't want to be a part of, we don't have to bring our recyclables there in the shortest of terms, and we can look for other options down the road. I'm in favor of it, but what the heck, right?
So, Joe, would you email that to me, too?
I will indeed, and Tim as well. I'm totally negligent in that. I should have done it last week, because I had it last week. But I will tonight when I go home do it.
Catherine, do you have something for us?
A little bit. I already filled you in about this hearing this morning on the House Bill 1674, which is lowering the taxes on, the interest rate on property taxes. It's something we need to be aware of. Cindy's association is tracking it very carefully, so we should be right on top of it.
Right.
But there'll be a series of hearings. They'll go to the Senate. A health officer, just the normal calls I get for heat and people wanting to withhold rent and that sort of thing. I always advise them to just a website that's similar to legal aid, that let them make their own conclusions on how to do that. I will be inspecting the Tilton Prep School probably next week. That should take a couple of days.
Yeah. Got a few buildings over there.
But that's about it. It's been quiet. I want to say that out loud.
Well, maybe the weather is helping.
We took Joe came with me, we took the water samples at the brook and brought those down. Learned a whole lot more about taking water samples in brooks. but that's all right.
We also went to the traffic place.
Oh, that's
Tell 'em about that.
right. We went to DOT with our Grange parking, and we went through an awful lot of departments, and
They were giving themselves the runaround. It was funny. The girl called, okay, now I have to call this number. And now I have to call that number. Go over there. And then she
Yeah.
called 3 or 4 numbers. And then we had to go to a different building.
yeah, when we went to a window, and then she gave us a number that had already been called, but it was crazy. So we finally went over to traffic, and a young fellow came out, and he was very, very informative. He didn't take our diagram and put parking on it like I'd hoped, but he was very informative and told us the most practical way to determine what we had for parking.
Okay.
So that was good. So we'll have to talk about that move forward, because the ZBA date is
21st.
21st. That's coming up.
I have the electric bill for 61 Business Park Drive. It's from December 7th to January 7th, which is 31 days. And it is $197.05. It's higher than the town hall. Now, there's nobody in that building
There is somebody in that building.
all the time.
There
Why
is
would they
somebody
leave
in
the
there.
lights on? And how much does a light cost? There's a problem at 61 Business Park Drive. I'm telling you, $200 for electric for a month when they only go in occasionally to a couple hours here to deal with the medical stuff or
There are
whatever.
times when they
Oh,
spend the whole day on Saturday.
And their medical
Probably light
equipment is
every light
plugged
in
in
the
all the
place.
time.
Right.
And everything that's plugged in crawls.
Right.
Okay, never mind. It's plugged
I
in.
think it's
If it-
worth a look. The last time we didn't look,
Right.
it was
It was a
trouble.
problem.
It's worth a look.
It
We
is.
have computers plugged in all over the place
I
here.
agree
We're
It is
spending
worth
more there than we are
a
here.
look.
That's what jumps out at
Can you
me.
please have Dennis
I think it's worth a
go
look.
over first thing in the morning and look, and make sure that the heating system is running properly, that the air conditioning unit isn't air conditioning the space.
Right.
That's a big space, but $1,000 and $700 for the delivery just seems a little steep somehow.
300 for delivery.
$300 for delivery,
We
but
haven't had
$700
that
for
cold in
gas.
winter.
At less than 50 degrees.
Very mild.
Big building, but less than 50, and it's not that cold.
All right, I have a couple items. One is, you didn't talk about 307 Main Street, do we have anything?
I haven't received anything.
We haven't heard anything from Bill Lambert.
I think we should make a
I
trip.
know he was in Durham when we went down there.
Yeah, that's why we went over there.
We were hoping to talk to him.
We have,
Judy Tilton had some pictures
yep,
that they get forwarded to us.
she is going to write a caption of what took place, because unless you see what took place with the car driving
It
in,
was, when she was describing it to me, it was just incredible.
that was,
That needs to go down there, but
Right.
you're right. Maybe we need to...
she needs to write it. She has the pictures, she
maybe
showed
we
me the
need to
pictures.
make an appointment.
What am I
and,
missing here?
She has there was a candy truck parked in the parking lot, along with a Budweiser truck that was delivering in the parking lot. And she was driving towards Town Hall. The car in front of her, or two cars in front of her, made a turn into the, so if you have the store, and here's Main Street, it went like this and parked in front of the space, and here's the
But
pole.
it went behind all those flags?
No, it went in front of the flags
So it
towards,
parked on the sidewalk?
yep, in like that. And then, when it was finished, it backed into Main Street, and then came down Main Street, and then down Prospect. It's a serious problem. Anyway, we have been asked to have a representative to the Franklin V&A Board of Directors. Our first choice declined, could not. She said yes, and then a few days later, after much thought, because of health issues with her husband, could not accept the position. So for the last week and a half, I've really done some research into, we want somebody that is going to represent Tilton, our seniors, disabled, those that need hospice in the best way possible, those that, somebody that knows home health care, hospice, and our seniors. I've talked it over with, I think, most of you folks here, and also Tom, who's the chairman of our senior committee, and we came up with a few names, and the first person that we came up with has declined. Our second person has accepted, and at this time, I would love to make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. I would make a motion that we as a Board of Selectmen recommend that Jane Alden be appointed the representative to the Franklin V&A Board of Directors.
Second.
The only discussion I might have on this issue, I think the choice is a fine one, certainly, is are you willing to do this?
I'm second choice. Yes, I'm willing.
Odd you weren't the third choice,
I
but
wouldn't have-
that's not the issue.
I would not have made that motion unless the person was
I just
okay.
wanted to hear it from her mouth, because this is a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility,
It
but
is.
Jane is trained in hospice.
Oh, well, there
She's
you go.
been very familiar with home health care and how it works, and
There was a better choice than her.
no, let me
Just a different
clarify
choice.
that. Let me just clarify that. I did not want to burn Jane out, because she's in many different departments now, many different,
Well, I was going to say,
Places.
doesn't she have enough on her plate already?
right, and so the other choice was someone that didn't have as much on her plate. That's the only reason. Otherwise, anyway, she's our choice, and she's,
For selectmen too?
and,
Yeah, I go. Every day I look at this James.
so anyway,
More than political office.
Call to duty.
we have a motion on the table, so any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Jane.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you'll do a great
so
job.
if you'll submit the information to the lady that you have, is it Weiss, or, okay.
Also, in regard to that, could we get an update of what goes on with that organization from time to time as you see fit?
Like, I don't know now.
Something more to put
Once a
in
month.
once you open up.
Okay. Thank you very much, really.
Okay, so here's an update on the Grange. We had a meeting with our chat committee, we went over several different items. Donations are pouring in with pots and pans and help from our community. There's a lot more items that are being that are on our wish list. But we should be opening soon, and I keep saying that, but we will be opening soon. We have someone that has volunteered to donate to repaint our main hall, a different color than yellow and red and teal.
Will it be a historic type
Yes.
restoration?
Yes, and so that's going to be done really, really soon. In order for that to be done, we need to make a decision on where we're going to be putting some of these items, artifacts, And I know we did talk about some of them making decisions on doing it, and others we said, let's just put them up here, and, but items have to come off the wall, and things are starting to move, and we're getting donations and furniture and things like that, and so now's the better time than any, when we're taking things off the wall now to repaint. And it's a perfect time.
Has a decision been made as to what you're going to keep there? Because there was talk about that. Putting
Yes.
on the stage.
We had Ann Yosharian come in. She donated some of her time as an interior decorator to try to map out how we would best utilize our main hall to different areas, a sitting area, reading area, little game area, whatever. So she met with us the other day. A lot of the cabinets, a lot of the display cabinets, we would have to move out of there because there wouldn't be room for those, particularly the large one. And I'm not, is that ours or is that Joanne?
That's ours. The display cabinets are ours.
Okay. So there's one display cabinet that we would like to keep. I know you want to keep the RSAs, the old laws. I don't think that there's going to be too many seniors that will be reading them. So,
They'd probably be all new to them.
but they certainly could, we could have a bookcase there for reading in its place. I'm saying if we could better use that space, it would be great. I'm not sure about the piano. I think we'd really love to get it retuned because there are some people on our chat committee that play piano.
How about
That would be
getting
really
some of
nice for
those seniors
entertaining.
that play piano,
And that
too?
could go up on the stage. You know, that would be nice.
Oh, that would be nice on the stage.
Right, and
Lift it. You bet it's heavy.
a ramp.
I now have a piano in my back bedroom. It went upstairs.
It's on rollers, so if you just put a ramp there, and you could roll it.
You ever lifted one of those suckers?
Good luck with that.
Yes, I
A
rolled it
couple of
from the
those-
kitchen to where it is now.
Four
Well, Matt
beefy
did.
Public Works guys can lift that right up on top of that stage.
I wouldn't want that
Not that
liability.
heavy. No, it's not that heavy. I have a piano and I can lift one end of it. It's not that heavy.
We
In
just
any
put
event, we
one.
really need to
Through the house
Lifted
to the
it up
back.
the stairs.
We had to lift it up the front stairs out front. I was
We're
going
only
to tell
talking
you.
about lifting it 2.5 feet off the ground. 4 burly guys can lift that up.
Oh, four, yeah, I agree with you. That's exactly who put it in my house.
4 burly
Four burly
guys can
guys.
just pick that up and go whoop, and that'll be the end of it.
Thank God my name isn't
Sorry,
Burley.
I said it.
You have a profile with your foot and stuff.
I ain't gonna happen.
How soon do you need to move these things?
Well, the painter's probably gonna be in the next couple of weeks,
All right, so next week we should go down there and,
and look at what,
Where are we going to put them?
I don't know.
the
Well, the
safest,
medical equipment could go downstairs, because it's metal. I mean, you
the
don't,
safest place for the artifacts is up on the stage. And you actually, if you place the cabinet close enough, people can get a look at them from here. And then we could maybe give it time to figure it out, although the guys would hate having to bring that upstairs in the elevator.
some of the pictures that are in the hallway and some of the framed pictures that are on the wall, we'd love to keep.
As we should, those
You
go
know.
with the Grange, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Would really, and a lot, the cabinet with the Lockmere Women's Club albums would like to keep there because people have dropped, seniors are now starting to come in to see what the, see how it's coming along, and they're looking through those albums and looking at people seeing people that they know or themselves. So, I mean, I think that's really important for us to keep. Plus, we have the safe, too, that's in the hallway that,
Yeah, there's a big safe up there.
I forgot about that safe.
it's open.
Any treasures?
Nope. It's pristine clean.
So it's like Al Capone's.
I was going to say Al Capone's
It's a
vault.
beautiful safe inside.
Did
It's
they
got
give
little
you the combo?
compartments. Cindy gave us the combo.
Oh, she did, she had it.
Yep.
Are you going to keep the safe?
We'd rather it space for coats and hats and
big.
Any proposals? Yeah, it is.
Well, I don't know if we can sell it or not, so I'm not even gonna go there. It's been painted and it's kind of peeling the paint. It's not nice like the one downstairs that we want to get
I
rid
was
of.
trying to say, is there any brass, or is it just a big hunk of metal?
No, there's no brass.
It could have been painted, yeah.
It's actually, it looks like stainless handle on it.
I'd sell it for scrap.
Yeah, metal's worth money. If nothing else.
I mean, you could try to sell it for a safe, but it doesn't have any real, it's like the safe downstairs with all the brass and the fanciness to it, the old post office safe. But if it's like the one down in the base, it's just a big, massive steel box.
That's what this is. Well, it's kind of pretty inside. It has little compartments and doors, and it's kind
We
of
probably
nice.
have more
Wooden.
safes per capita in this town.
So,
I'd say sell
and-
it.
I do have a couple of questions, observations, or whatever. My first question is with regard to the stove. There was a
Up and
mention.
running. Up,
Oh, I'm
running.
sure it runs, but
Ranked.
how are we with Chief Ober? That was the question. I have no doubt that the stove works.
As long as it has a shut-off.
And so we just put that in the line,
Yeah,
right?
it's in.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's a
And
standard
they fired
feature
it up,
anyway.
and they showed me how to turn the pilot on in the oven, and it,
Piece of cake, right? And it went right on, the pilot
Right on.
did? Well, those were the only two pieces that could fail on that oven, so we're golden. Hallelujah, I can't wait.
I'll
And
tell
my
you,
second
all
thing is,
nice.
I still have a bunch of kitchen stuff. Pans, big pans, roasting pans, stuff like that. They're in storage at my house, I have a big barn. And at such time as you got your stuff put away, and
In the
really...
pot rack.
And is that hung?
No, not yet. It's
Okay.
going.
I've got the hook, we just need chain to hang it into the beams. That's a Tom Gallant thing or something like that. I have the hooks that go with that as well. So when we get everything squared away, we can decide what is applicable at that point. And I can just feed it as I got something that'll be perfect for that. The last question was... God, there was one last question too. Oh, did you receive the list that I sent you via email with the priced out just smallwares? I sent you a list, I might not have put down the right header on it, because I definitely sent it to you and it didn't come back to me, so...
I'll look for it.
I'll resend that, because I got to go home and
Okay.
send you some stuff anyway pertaining to the co-op, so, to make certain that you've got it.
Okay, that would be good. Because we're getting stuff done to Jane.
Yes, I have two things we're talking about the green. We still have the clothes that something needs to be done with. And they're just packed in totes, those gray totes right now. They're gonna dry rot because they're dirty.
Some of that belongs to Joanna, doesn't it?
No.
No?
There's, the things
Should
I'm
have
most
cleaned.
concerned about, there are uniforms in there that are authentic. A lot of the dresses are not. They're just things that were made in the centennial or whatever. But the uniforms are
Civil War, World War I, that kind of stuff?
Civil War.
So the question is, does this board want to pay to have those items dry cleaned?
Can we wait until after town meeting? Right now, we don't have money to expend on anything frivolous. If it'll wait, I would say wait, but otherwise, we can't let them deteriorate. We can't let them rot. It's
Are the
gonna-
totes sealed? Shut?
No,
No, they're just shut. They're not sealed.
shut.
So not airtight or anything?
No.
But they've been there, like, in that condition for quite some time. It's 6 weeks.
Well, they've been hanging up.
They've been hanging up, but the air can circulate.
Still in pretty bad shape this morning. I put them in the totes because we had to clear that area out. So it's something that, I guess if somebody wants to go through them with me, we can go through and figure out what really needs, we want to save and what we don't.
Do we have money?
I would just bring them here.
Okay. And the second thing is.
They can be hung
we need
downstairs.
Floor and kitchen sealed as soon as possible. And I was talking with Bob, and I.
I got that covered.
You have, okay.
Got it covered. Bob Howe is going to give me a price. Lloyd Howe is going to give me a price. Okay,
Make sure it's non-slip,
right.
because kitchens are wet, greasy places, and we could have a terrible thing happen, Okay, I said my piece.
We have the Belknap County Economic Development Council is sending us a note, and Norm is our current representative. So, Norm, under the circumstances, I don't know if you still want to continue being the representative, or
Well,
we
seeing
select
as
someone
how,
else.
In probably 6 weeks' time, I won't be a selectman.
You don't have to be a selectman to be a representative, I don't believe,
I
but,
think I'm just backing away from everything, so.
okay, so we will be looking for someone to represent us on,
Need something to do in your spare time, Catherine?
No. It doesn't have to be a selectman.
maybe someone on the planning board would like to do it. Okay. Or the zoning board.
Those boards they're pretty busy. Most of them work. A lot of them work.
I would certainly appreciate any community involvement that does not include the same 20 people that I see at every meeting that I go to. We have a lot of people in our town that are civic-minded, and I know they are, but it's hard to make a commitment or whatever. This is an easy way to get involved in the town on a limited basis and do good for the community. And I certainly hope somebody who would hear the sound of my voice would come down and express an interest, because we'd love to
Maybe our
have
new
it.
selectman will take it over.
Couldn't we create a, municipal volunteer page that would kind of explain, what we list our committees and our boards, et cetera, the requirements, which really aren't much except for residency and the willingness to serve.
The town of Meredith, I noticed, I was in the town hall, and right on the clerk's counter, they have a packet that lists all the volunteer opportunities in the entire county-wide area, and it tells what you need to do. Perfect. It's the exact same thing that Catherine was
You
just
didn't grab
saying.
one?
No, I didn't think of it at the time, but the next time I'm in Meredith, because my brother Eric lives there, I'll stop by town
Yeah,
hall
grab one.
and get one, because it's got all the addresses and phone numbers for the various organizations, and you don't have to be associated with the town. It's Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and
That's great.
any number of different things that people can become involved in their communities. And I think that makes everybody more a part of the spirit of the community.
Absolutely. That's
I never
great.
used to do it, but I got to tell you that since I became involved in doing stuff, yeah, it's been a really good thing in my life, certainly. And I would recommend it wholeheartedly for anybody.
Oh, no, there's no question about it.
But we should also create a link on our website.
Yep, I
That would
think,
be just,
I agree.
you
Yep.
know, municipal volunteers or...
Okay, we have, I'm not going to go through them, but we do have reports for the town reports on the zoning and the planning and conservation. They're in here. I did want to bring out that there is a hearing notice for the Board of Tax and Land Appeals, and this is for for MC&G, Town of Tilton.
MC&G,
That's one of our remaining TLAs.
all of those initials mean nothing to me, right?
Mr. Crosby.
Ah! Okay, that means something.
Then there's a DES
That's the main
for the South Bay for their water, and it says no,
That's looking.
requires no action on the part of the town.
Doesn't really tell you. Doesn't really tell you.
Why does this say, it says, the South Bay Resort has been closed for business and RTL Revocable Trust is no longer serving food or water to the public. Based on DES determination that compliance with the order is moot, and DES issues this notice of closure for the order.
I guess they must have, maybe they sold snacks or something there, I don't know.
It's South Bay?
Yeah?
Like
I
a
didn't-
vending machine?
Yeah.
Are we represented by Avatar in this process?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this a new one?
No, that's from last week.
Okay. All right, and then we have a driveway permit for 570 West Main Street.
Permission.
And Charlie Bass is going to be here March 5th, 2012, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
The Charlie Bass?
No, it's representative.
Why is he going to be here?
Constituents with questions, comments, or those in need of assistance with a federal agency are welcome to attend.
I like it
Please
when he
contact
came in
Bass
last time.
Outreach and Projects Director Harold Parker.
At least I got to hear it from his own mouth.
Wait a minute, it says the office of, it says the office
Right.
of
So that's not,
Charlie Bass will be holding public office hours.
It's the same guy that was here last time.
With
Charlie.
Representative Bass.
No, oh, yes, he did come with
He
Charlie.
came with the representative.
He was,
So why isn't Charlie coming?
He's busy representing us in Washington,
right.
probably.
Infuriates me. They
Sure his
can't.
bill gets passed.
Yeah.
Just go on and look at the House of Representatives and see what our representatives are voting on.
Right.
That's an eye-opener. Sandy, do you have anything for us?
Sure.
Not tonight. Oh, I did want to ask Joyce,
So
did we
strange.
hear back from Jim Clemens as far as when he wants to get together?
yes.
We did?
I was going to do that in non-public.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay, I had this, I forgot to write it down. I had spoken to Catherine Dawson about it. At the middle school, they have a group that's called Kids That Care.
Yes.
And
About what?
their,
Yep.
community service
Excellent.
projects is that they are putting out the money jars for, and this is for the Franklin Animal Shelter.
Yep.
Right.
Excellent, excellent.
So I know that in the past, we just want to make sure that the board gives permission for this, and I said, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem, but let me...
Where do they go?
Excellent. Boy, that Franklin,
They'll have the jar out on the 14th, sorry, the 14th or the 15th, and then they'll pick it up like on the 22nd or the 23rd.
Where does it go?
Franklin Animal Shelter.
On the counter
The jar
downstairs.
on the counter. The
How
money
much
in
of the
it,
money goes to the actual care of the animal?
100%.
So there's no administrative costs that come out of it?
These are eighth
No.
These are
graders.
the eighth graders,
Yeah.
Joe.
No, they're going to give it to the place down there, and how
Yes.
much do they spend of that money on,
100%.
okay.
It goes to...
Everybody's
it-
volunteer down there.
It goes to dog, there's
Is that what
one
you're
person
asking?
that's not volunteer, she makes $15,000 a year. Trust me, she ought to be $100,000 the way she cares for animals.
So there
I'm
is
good
a
with that.
little bit of administrative cost.
I thought you meant that the organization, the Kids That Care, but no, that's their community service.
It's a nice place, and they started
Now-
out small.
That just it occurs to me that their community service program consists of walking down here, putting a counter on the jar, coming back and picking it up.
They do a lot of different things, Kids That Care. They rake the leaves for the seniors, they were volunteered to do,
The girl that did donated all the Christmas presents and her birthday presents and stuff, she's an active member in Kids That Care.
if you have any
Maybe
ideas
I'm
for them
just
to do.
cynical, but you know, that didn't sound like sounds like a worthy cause and everything, but if that was their entire year's worth of help, it's like, my goodness.
That was an easy thing, huh?
Yeah,
Easy project, they all got an A.
Kudos to the Kids That Care.
They can do what they want to do when they want to do it. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I choose not to do it.
That kind of attitude has had me married 4 times now. Yeah, I'm a 3-time loser, not 4 times. I have a lovely wife.
I would like to make is there any more business come before us in a public? Okay. I would like to make a motion to enter into non-public session as per RSA 91A:3, legal.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adjustment votes yes.
Turn your confidential paper back to Joyce so it can be
Yes.
shredded.
She's got it.
I move to seal the minutes of the non-public meeting as they pertain to legal issues permanently,
No,
until such matters are resolved.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'd like a motion to adopt the following selectmen's policy.
Thank you.
And it refers to the use of legal services. The Board of Selectmen has voted that all legal inquiries be directed to the local government center prior to consulting a private attorney. If the response from the local government center does not provide a sufficient guideline or provide an answer to your question, permission from the Board of Selectmen must be obtained prior to consulting a private attorney. This policy takes effect immediately. Questions regarding it should be directed to the Board of Selectmen.
Second. Any discussion on that motion?
That'll go to all department heads
Yes.
and town officials, I assume?
Yes. All those in favor of the policy? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Okay.
It's unanimous.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Oh, yeah, second. I'll jump on that bandwagon. Aye.
That was funny.
The whole night long, and all the eyes were done.